Hello everyone. You are listening to my voice again today because I am still awake and I am covering the 11 Crazy Russians versus the Thunderhide Balrogs, so this should be some fun times. If you are just joining me, this is Flipped Toast versus Dr. Dakka. This game was somewhat delayed, and I am currently not looking at the game because I am sorting out what is going on with my stream and making sure it's all working. Just bear with me 1 second while I get in on what I'm doing. Just make sure everything's working. If you are going to be watching, then I very much appreciate you doing so. Are we working? Are we working? We are working. We're working. Excellent. Alright, so let's just spam out the links and then I will try and catch up with what's going on. We've already seen an injury that I did witness while I was forgetting what Flipped's team is called. So apologies for that. And we are a go. Okay, let's just spam out a link. Okay, so as we can see, sorry, now I have my pointy stuff active again. We are currently behind the Kislevians of Dr. Dakka, who are on the offense for this drive. The bear has already taken out a unlucky Norse who is KO'd. It is Tusk Snowhands, the lineman who has fend. So I'm going to try and figure out what's going on. And we'll catch up into it. If anyone is feeling like they want to co-cast, do let me know and I will chuck you into a Discord room and we will do that, because that will be fun and it means you don't have to just listen to me droning on in my tired fashion. Yeah, sure, that'd be awesome, Rand. I'd much appreciate that. So whenever you're ready, just ping me and let me know and I'll drop you in. We'll use one of your Discord rooms, I guess. Yeah, both of you, why not? It's always a fun time when the three of us are on. Yeah, cool. Do you want to jump in, Kitakaze? I'll jump into a Discord room and we can do that if you like, while I am not paying attention to what's going on, so I apologise everyone. We'll get caught up in a sec. Alright, so let's go to Rand's casting corner and we'll jump into game one. I am in there. Let's see if Kitakaze can get in here too. Oh, he's in game 3. Maybe I'll jump in game 3 then. Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Can anyone who happens to be watching my channel please let me know whether they can hear Kitakaze as well, so we don't have a repeat of the invisible friend incident. How you doing, Kitakaze? How was your game?
Well, first week was pretty good. I got a little bit lucky that Halo did not have any good dice luck. Otherwise, I need to practice a lot, it seems like, because the rust from not playing for so long has really made it apparent.
Yeah, I get you. I was super worried about rust, but things seem to have worked out alright for me tonight, so I'm quite happy sitting on top of my group after one game. That's not a thing I'm used to. Rand, can you please confirm whether you can hear Kitakaze for me, please? I'm just talking to myself again, that would be really embarrassing.
I can do a quick mic test as well and just unmute.
Yeah, awesome, that'd be brilliant. Oh yeah, he can hear you, brilliant. Levels alright, you can hear us both fairly clear. It's also in the kitchen. That's where you belong,
Sounds
Rand.
like that you can, oh. Careful now, our new Rebel Rookie League admin might not like that too much.
I'm just cruising for a ban hammering, that's what it is. Okay, so calling the action here. So we are seeing the Kislev running around to the side here to block off Pierce Nordbeard. Okay, I love some of the names in our teams, it must be said. They are pretty brilliant. Gets a push in on this dude, who is Nilo Sharkbite.
Yeah, great.
Sorry, that's a piling on. That's a hit and a piling on.
Absolutely unpronounceable.
Yeah, very true. That's a stun. potentially risky spot for a piling on if the support doesn't come in. But Vladimir Putin is a scary player. 45 out of 51. Here we go. Here comes Mr. Snuggles. And we see... Oh... That's another stun. Stuns all over the place here. Balinar Bristleclaws. So I think we're probably going to see the ball move up into this area soon. If you see where my cursor is going, that would seem like the logical choice. I wonder if someone is going to come in and tag this Yeti up, though. What do you reckon?
Well, it wouldn't be the worst decision ever. I'd throw maybe a cheap player on it, but the last time I played Dakka back all the way in college, week 1, he was jumping all over the place with those kids,
Yeah.
and I would not be surprised if he just left that Yeti alone and just decided to jump around him instead.
Yeah, and I mean, when we're talking about these teams, do either of them really have any cheap players? These are some scary high TV teams from what I remember. From my cursory glance over everything at the beginning, and both I think have been pegged as ones to watch for this season by our casting, our recap crew. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's a very interesting match to have first week.
Absolutely, and there are no cheap players on the field. If you switch over real quick to the game skills column, you can see almost every player on the field, barring maybe 1 or 2 downed players at the moment, have a additional skill. As we see a skull and both down come in.
So no movement there, but that is a rather rough place for Pierce Nordbeard to be, sandwiched between a bear and 2 Kislevians. What I find amusing, as a complete aside here, is both of these teams are from cold places. The Norse are wearing almost no clothes, and the Kislev are wearing tons and tons of furs, but the Kislevs are obviously very cold.
Absolutely.
Dancing around primarily to keep warm. Yeah, I mean, we've got a loner on Dakka's side here. Oh, no, we haven't. Yeah, we have. What's going on there? Oh, okay. It's because they have Russian names anyway, so I'm confusing myself. Nikolay Kurakin is a loner.
Something interesting to note here, as we see just a quick push go on. The crazy Russians are coming in with a bribe and the fame on their side, but Flipped Toast looks like has picked up an extra reroll at some point.
Yeah. I failed to spot the kickoff event because I was getting the stream set up super quick. Oh, here we go. Goes in with a foul, very acrobatic foul, and that's a good foul. No double either, so he stays on the pitch. Yeah, I'm liking these tactics here from Dakka. He's kind of pushed all of his players off to the left-hand side of the pitch, but given their ability to leap around like crazy things and his propensity to utilise that skill, it means that he's basically got Toast chasing in at him, and while he can put pressure on the ball, he can't necessarily threaten it all that well.
And the 2 early KOs here are definitely helping out Dakka's side, as he's now got the numbers advantage.
For sure. First 2 turns and you are 2 players up is pretty big, and both teams have a bench of 1, so it is a 2-player advantage. Assuming they don't wake up, I guess. I think this could be a tale of injuries and a tale of removals more than anything else, although never count out that ability to leap and stick that ball in the end zone from what would be an impossible position for many other teams. What do you fancy as the scoreline for this one?
It depends, like you said, on all of those removals. Right now, just based on the 2 removals that Dakka has over Flipped, I'd say that the Kislev are inching their way towards a 2-0, but if Flip can respond real quickly here on his second turn, I'd say it's going to be a very close game, possibly even a draw going all 16 turns.
And there's some very, very brutal players out here who could certainly do that. Also, like I said before, Vladimir Putin here is somewhat vulnerable. I don't think you're going to see a foul come in, because that would be very foolish when you're 2 players down, but stranger things have happened. And as we well know, unassisted foul kills do happen. Frenzy's in, gets the power on the second time of asking, and the armor break, and an injury. There we go. That is pretty big. That turns over the deficit a little bit.
It does, and it hits one of the crucial guard pieces too.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a big piece to remove. It's a wrestle guard piece. It's a natural ball sacker, and he is out of there.
And I believe if I make my count correctly, that actually evens up the guard count to just both of the big guys now.
It does indeed, yeah. So that takes away that guard advantage that Dakka has. And that guard advantage is almost like having an extra man on the pitch. So when you are 2 people up already, and you've got that guard advantage, then you are essentially, in some respects, 3 people up. So that just drops him down to 1 again. I'm waffling. I haven't slept properly in quite some time.
Well, you are the play-by-play guy. I'm just here to fill in for color commentary.
Yeah, of course. So the play-by-play might be a little strange tonight. I might hand that off to Rand when he gets here.
Oh, I'm here. I'm just enjoying my dinner.
Oh, cool. Yeah. You. What are you eating? Are you having poutine?
Well, because I am an adult, I have chicken nuggets and French fries
Brilliant.
that I made in my brand new air fryer.
Nice. That's rock and roll. So yeah, how are you feeling, Rand? This is the first time we talked since the season started. I know your game didn't quite go the way you wanted it to, and you ended up with an injured troll as a result. But how you feeling going forward?
I'm actually surprised. Like, I'm very, very happy with how I coached outside of the last. That's a real late reroll on that turn.
He's got the rerolls for it though. He got that freebie from the
Interesting, good position. Yeah, so I'm actually very, very, very happy with how I coached outside the last 2 turns, which was territory I'm not familiar with, because I didn't play a ton of speed teams, and I didn't have to be in a position where there was a turn or 2 I had to defend with weird stuff going on. I made a ton of mistakes, and it's easy to catch them looking back.
For sure.
I felt real good about taking it to 2-1. Especially losing the troll so early. That was basically the entirety of his inducements in one player that I lost the entire game. So he got inducements on top of me missing a player.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with how things went.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game, and it was one of those things where it was basically an aim play at the end. Aim is becoming infamous for pulling off these quite sort of last minute plays that even it up or win it for him, and you can say that you held the champion to a draw. That's pretty good accolade. It's a pretty good feather in your cap.
Yeah, I feel good about it. We're going to see how things progress. There's been some major questions I've been having and asking around about my troll and what I want to do with him.
Yeah,
he's on M&G, so I don't have to deal with it this week. I can kind of kick it down the road and see if I want to bring him back in. But he did level. He does have stand firm now. So,
and could I request that you don't bring him back for our game, since that is the week 3 matchup?
We will see. It will be under review.
Yeah, and I think the division, some things have happened in your division that have made things quite interesting. So the game between Viscardus and Audrey last night resulted in a dead Blodgesaurus and a dead second Saurus, which is quite interesting, really. Because that means that Viscardus is going to be going into his next game against Elves, I think. With a Saurus down, he's going to have a replacement skink instead. So it changes the complexion maybe slightly if Viscardus is going in with that kind of handicap in the golfing sense of the word.
So punch on the Yeti, by the way, as we are going on.
We're just waffling about stuff that isn't happening. Oh, now that was a big one.
Bad week for Yetis.
Yeah. And that is, as we were saying, the guard deficit now. So the only player with guard on the pitch is that bear. That was a big removal. At least it was just a knockout, though. could have been worse.
Were there
but for
inducements of any
Flipped-
kind?
Yeah, so there's a bribe on the Russian side,
Huh.
and I missed it because I was setting up the stream, but I'm pretty sure the kickoff event was an extra reroll for Flipped and the Thunderhide Balrogs. Yeah, so we have a bribe in play, and there is the fame on the side of the Russians as well, for what that's worth.
Well, when it comes to stunning players, probably a lot.
Oh, for sure. Now I wonder. We've got the ball back here, relatively safe right this very second, but kind of is starting to look a bit more isolated with these three players surrounding Nikolai Kuryakin. Ooh.
And it might be another... Nope,
another
just a
stun.
stun this time.
A
No, I
KO,
take that
it's a
back, a
KO.
KO.
The removals on this are ridiculous. Like, I know neither team are particularly carrying high armor value, but that's 4 knockouts, 4 knocked out Norse, including the Yeti.
So I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound weird, the first syllables that come out of my mouth. That's a good result for the Norse. Your armor is going to break with Norse. KO's about as success. The only thing you would want is stun past that, right? There's no injuries, no permanents. Apo's still on the board. If he scores quick, okay. On the flip side, Dakka... Flipped side. Dakka has a perm already.
Yeah.
Or not a perm, but he's going to stick for the game.
The other thing that I'm going to say is, in fact, I think in some respects, KOs are probably preferable to stuns. In some respects, in that you cannot foul a KO player. Red dice goes in. Because we got that bribe in play, so if the players are off the pitch, they can't get fouled into perms or fouled into injuries and removed altogether, so there's still a chance that they may come back. Going nowhere there.
Yeah, but for Flipped, it's going to look a lot more desperate as he keeps seeing his players removed here. At this point, it's going to be very easy for Dakka to stall out for all 8 turns.
He's going to time out. He's moved his ball carrier back, but he's going to time out. Oop.
Yeah.
Just quickly, here we go.
He rolls it!
Yeah, he rolls it. Oh, and it's a skull. And a reroll and get the POW. He's going for a surf on that wolf.
But he's not going to have the time to do anything.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, we had a timeout. No, here we go. Oh, yeah, you're slightly ahead of me because you're in America. There we go. That is another KO.
So, yeah, that numbers advantage.
This is brutal. This is 3 turns in, and we've got 5 players off the pitch on this side and 2 on this side.
I guess the only saving grace for just about everybody in the Americas... Or, I'm sorry, this is mixed, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the only saving grace for the mixed guys is that Dakka's not getting any SPP on any of these.
Yeah. Not that he really needs it. Go. That is a downed Russian. But yeah, this could turn into 2 or 3 dudes chasing 2 or 3 dudes by the end of, say, turn 6 at this rate. What happens when you run out of things to punch? I guess you go and score.
Wow.
Oh, and the loner is injured, as is their wont. So, not the worst loss in the world, but every loss here is really counting.
Now, if I'm Flipped, I would have blitzed that there.
Mm.
And then tried to pressure with my blitzer, my berserker.
Yeah, for sure.
He may still pressure, to be honest, looking at it now.
Yeah, he's going for the blitz here, so I'm assuming he's going to move him on.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness gracious!
So for every knocked out player
bust.
that Flipped has,
That's a strength bust. Yep, he power appos it, so we are on a no Kaz for that. Not power appo, we know what power appo is. But yeah, strength bust. I say power appo just as an affectation now, I think.
As a habit, yeah. I remember watching an old game of yours. You're like power apos. I was like, wait a second.
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, that was me getting the unassisted Black Hawk kill. But here we go. We are now on ball. Not that necessary. Oh, and he rolls into a double skulls and an injury. This is insane. There are going to be no players on the pitch by the end of the first half. Look at this dugout.
So we've got 2 perms on Dakka's side, with one of that, or with a third one being Apo'd back. 5 knocked out and a perm on Flip's side. I guess he'll take the knockouts over the perms, but this is getting ugly.
This is getting really ugly. And there's every possibility that none of those knockouts come back. Unlikely, admittedly, but yeah, this is just a bloodbath.
Quick point.
The blood bowl.
The mark on the ball carrier is a strength 3.
Yeah.
There is no strength 3 blocker for Dakka in range of that piece. He can either bring 2 pieces down to get a 2-die with block from Rasputin, but that's his scoring piece.
Yep.
So he now has to figure out, how am I getting the ball free on a piece that doesn't have dodge, and he's got 1 reroll left. So if he leaps and it fails for any reason, you are looking at a reroll-less Kislev team on turn 4.
Yep. And there's always the possibility that the reroll fails as well, and then you have dropped the ball at the feet of a player who is 3 squares away from your end zone on your drive.
Well, to borrow Audrey's line of thinking here, I almost would like to use the other 3 strength there just for a push and use the ball carrier surf and just form a slight cage right now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you do that, your ball carrier is only a strength 2. So he'll only have a 1-die trying to push him off the field.
He's freeing up the bear. And the piling on goes in as well. No banana there. I don't even know what that means. No banana? What?
I wasn't going to question it. I thought it was something across the pond.
No, it's not. It's just me putting words together. Okay, so we are getting down to the bare necessity. I'm not going to do that, no.
Bare necessity, huh?
Yeah. So he's freed up the bear here. So I'm wondering what that's for. Because at the moment, I'm not really seeing what that accomplishes, apart from obviously the hit on the piling on back, on the piling on guy here.
My biggest complaint about that blitz, like, you did pile on, but you can't blitz a ball carrier free.
Yep. And you've done nothing to relieve the pressure on the ball carrier there. Okay.
We'll see either a dodge or a leap.
I think it's
Weird.
probably one or the other, yeah. Bear runs around the top. Here we go. Goes for the leap, gets the leap. So are we going to see a handoff to the scoring dude now? Yep. And it's good. So rah Rasputin time, I guess.
Some Agi 4 doing Agi 4 things. Nothing new there.
Now, where does that piece go? Because I see the double mark. I see what he wanted to do with the bear and Mikhail Gorbachev. But that's an Ulf. That Ulf can just punch off, no problem. It's strength 4 to a strength 3.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been tempted almost to bring Rasputin's ghost up and put him on the side of the Ulf there just to keep that Ulf away and then potato like hell.
That's, I'm going to jump in. That's 1 GFI blitz range right now. And he'll get a 2-die because it's a strength 2 piece.
Yeah.
And, oh boy, the foul comes in with the send-off.
And it's a
Has
send-off.
to bribe.
That's not the worst thing in the world, though. That is why he bought it.
It was the dirty player as well. It's amazing. He snakes the armor roll on that one.
Yeah. If you're going to roll the snake, though, rolling it on an armor roll and a foul that you can bribe your way out of is not the worst way to do it.
This is not a bad position for Dakka here. I don't see a very easy way to get a blitz on that ball. Even that Ulf still has to get around the prehensile tail unless they
No,
can
you
find
don't.
it.
So here's what you do. You take the Ulf, you punch down on Mikhail Gorbachev. You're strength 4, so you're still going to 2-die, and you're able to go 1-2, push down. As long as you get him down or push him twice, you can run through with Balnar Bristleclaws, who will get a 2-die on the ball because it's strength 2 versus strength 3. You can also bring up pieces like Raw Headache, the lineman with Fend, just to tag that lineman down there. and you can start running your Berserker up to assist, and you can jump up punch the dirty player if you want to, or the catcher. There's a ton of options right now for this
Yeah,
team.
Certainly. Like,
You're absolutely right, I did miss that.
A precarious spot with teams as agile as we see in these pair. And, as someone who makes extensive use of jump up is one of those things that your opponents quite often forget exists. So they think they're safe, and then they aren't safe. Okay.
Now, speaking of skills that opponents quite often forget, what does Rasputin have that may give Dakka the edge here?
Well, we have dodge, we have dive and catch, we have very long legs, obviously, we have leap, we have block, and we have sidestep. And sidestep is a thing that I constantly forget and that drives me to distraction. So,
Bingo. Ooh, he should not follow this hit if he does take it.
yeah, agreed. And that is just a stun.
Unfortunately, Frenzy has to follow.
Of course
Didn't
he
have much
does.
of a choice on that.
Kitakaze schooling us there. In my defense, I am tired.
My point was going to be with the sidestep. Even if you do get a good blitz on there, you need a POW.
Yeah, you're power fishing, and
Anything but a POW means he can step upfield and get position.
and then all it is a dodge off because you're not getting anything with tackle. So, in fact, the only player with tackle on the pitch now is Raw Headache, who is currently tagging up Rasputin's ghost.
So I know this is a little bit of a, I shouldn't say a mistake on Flipped Toast. And whenever you see POW, you almost instinctively take POW. But in this case, I think he would have had to re-roll that and hope for something that wasn't actually a POW.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Vorm. I did not see your comment there because I was not paying attention while we were talking nonsense about various things and talking about raw bananas. It's starting to look like that from both sides, really. Yeah, this is quite impressive damage already. We've kind of slowed the pace a little bit. But we will see. Here we go. Jump up goes in, and we see a hit. Oof, and that is another injury. And that's an MNG. Yeah, I mean, he's getting there already, and it's only turn 4, turn 5. Oh, fails the dodge. That's got to be a reroll, yeah. Gets it this time. This is the POW fish. And does not. Steps back, that's an interesting one. I guess that's a dodge out, isn't it? So it's not too rough. Alright, so let's see how Dakka copes with this. Now, Vladimir Putin here is essentially within range to blitz off Balinar Bristleclaws.
Well, I'm going to say there's no tackle here, so I believe a dodge or a leap has the same amount of chance. So you could easily just jump right out with an Agi 4.
Yeah, I mean, the possibility of the blitz would be perhaps because he's going for the removals, because if you can hit the piling on and then... yeah, we're 2 GFIs away, so if he can hit the piling on and then score, he doesn't have to worry about being downed with the piling on. Not that I think with this many players on the pitch it's going to be that much of an issue, but I'm always an advocate of violence for the sake of violence. It's the orc in me.
Yeah, I forgot I'm surrounded by orc coaches here. This is a little, well, it's the usual territory for the cast, a little bit unusual for a human anyway.
So what would you do, Kitakaze, in this situation? Would you just take the dodge and run for it, or would you try and knock down Balinar?
I'd be very tempted to take our Mighty Blow player that's sitting on the ground there and try to get him that extra few SPP, see if we can get him close. And then if it doesn't work, dodge out, and then form either a cage or block up that Ulf.
I mean, we're 4 SPP away from a level 6, which is level 5 rather, which is pretty crazy.
I was like,
Level
wait a
6.
second.
What is a level 6? Here we go.
Oh
Here
no!
Oh,
Whoa! Oh!
Double skulls.
That is not what I was expecting.
Nor me. But it gets it, and I think they're going to see that piling on. Don't need to, really, do we?
No, not at all.
So what is Dakka's plan here now? I thought for sure he was going to be blitzing Balnar Bristleclaws off. It makes sense that he went for the tackle player in retrospect.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess he tags the Ulf with the bear. Maybe brings Rasputin's ghost in up over the top to block off the avenues for Balnar Bristleclaws to dodge out.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, I'd like to see him move the bear first, see if the bear has boneheaded, because if not, or if it does rather, he's going to have nothing covering that Ulf for the time being.
Yeah, so Rasputin's ghost will have to do that. But yeah, Vladimir Nabokov is probably not in a good position right now. There we go, no bonehead.
Mighty close, though.
Yep.
I'm a fan of stalling, but this is I don't think this is as in hand as you want it to be.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is 4 to 6 players that are actively on the field, and if you can do something to that bear,
Yeah, I mean, you've got a killer sitting here completely unmarked with frenzy. Yeah, I mean, you can take the bear down here. I mean, do you want to...
And if I was flipped, that would be my intent,
that would
I
be
think.
what I would do. Yeah, I would take the bear out. You've given him a free hit. Yeah, not stalling does bring a lot of KOs back. That's true.
well, I understand that that's what he's doing, but I would have tried to bring the players downfield then and cage up to consolidate your strength, because right now it's a bit strung out. Because if you really want to try to focus this bear, I know targeting AV9 is not the best thing to do, but you run Miles' Drunk Stench just to the right of Fluffy Sam there, so you can give the assist, and then you can actually blitz with your killer from the left and push him, so if you don't knock him, you can then have Fluffy Sam hit as well.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, Fluffy Sam could try the GFIs and actually mark Rasputin.
Also worth pointing out that Rough Mad Punch has Frenzy, so it's going to be 2 bites. Red or... Instant roll. Oh,
okay, that works.
Yeah,
that works.
Got him. Yep. And the piling on.
Yeah, if you're PETA and you're watching, please close your eyes for the moment.
Nothing hurts, so it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah.
Not quite the play I was expecting, but he is moving his guys back upfield again so that he can have a chance at the ball carrier, and that Ulf is now free.
Well, the Ulf can actually, with 2 GFIs, tag Rasputin.
Yeah, I think that's probably what you do. You've got... Yeah.
Oh, unfortunate
It's
there.
the banana peel.
And this, folks, is why you wear cleats.
The other... Uh-oh, here is the dirty player is in range of that Ulf.
Mm-hmm. Bear gets up. Yeah, so I think you probably continue stalling, take the foul on the Ulf.
That's so risky to me. You need to move Rasputin before you do it.
Yeah.
Because if you do get sent off, there's a turnover, and if you don't get him off the field, he just pops up and can punch you.
That's another KO on Balrogs Bristleclaws. Yeah, so...
Now, while he could pop up and punch you, there's not many players to threaten the ball at this point.
Mm-hmm. Miles Drunkstens, though, does have dodge, so in theory you could see a sort of Hail Mary attempt at the ball.
If you were really committed to not letting him score, if you do manage to pop him and knock him down, you could just stand in the corner of the end zone, so any hit they get on you, the ball goes out of bounds.
Yep. But, I mean, we are looking now at what is a pitch clearance. like there is one Norse player on the field, two Norse players on the field. One of them is down. Three Norse players. I can't count. So yeah, there's 3 Norse players left on the field. He's still going for the stall, but he's going to have to just flood Miles Drungstench.
So, out of curiosity, have we actually had a pitch clear from this college class?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, he's basically going to surround Miles Drungstench here, because if he doesn't, then he's on ball with 2 GFIs.
And a GFI just to assist the foul there. This should be very interesting.
Yep. This could go horribly wrong.
But it doesn't.
Nope. And nothing happened. Quite excitingly.
Now here's a fun question to ponder while we see what Flip does. If, let's say for argument, none of those KOs come back, and Dakka does manage to remove another player permanently out of the game, do you see Flip concede here since you'd be able to only field 3 players on the field?
I don't know.
What's the question?
Well,
Just a completely out there, very, very low chance hypothetical, but if Flip can't field a proper LOS, do you see a concede here, or do you think he just hopes that, well, I guess if it's in the first half, if he can't field an LOS,
no,
he'll wait.
you don't concede this.
yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because you could then get all of them back 2 turns later.
So Dakka's coming back with at best 9 pieces in the second half.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying on the very, very off chance that for some reason he gets no KOs back this half, no KOs again next half, and can't field a proper team.
He'll have to overflow the KO box or fit more in the injury box. So there's options, because he's got one that's still sitting just in the reserve bin.
Okay, so we have the Ulf. I think he probably wanted to push there, really. Because he's going to have to dodge now in order to get anywhere with that. Oh.
Nope, he's just going to take his punches.
Red dice, yeah.
Hey, nice!
Nice.
I shouldn't be cheering one side or the other. It's just 3 pieces left.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
and
he
stun,
piles on
pile
the stun.
No banana. Let's just go with bananas again.
No banana.
No banana. No banana for that one. But, yeah, a valiant effort. Now, I wonder if he takes...
I'm almost tempted to take the extra dodge, so instead of just doing the 3, take the 4 plus, 3 plus, and then double GFI and get right back on the ball carrier with the blodge piece.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, but you're just screaming to Dakka, kill that player, please.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's basically screaming out and kill that player anyway at the moment. Takes the red, gets a push. But yeah, it's looking a little bit hairy for Miles Drungstench because we do have a jump-up killer within range. A jump-up killer who is on 47 out of 51 and therefore is really fixing to get a few more SPP. There we go, gets the frenzy into a...
Oh my word.
And he's down.
Power Apo comes out.
Mm-hmm.
No Kaz.
No Kaz.
I mean,
I
almost
really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's good play. Very good play. Flipped, keeping the dream alive. But that is a crazy side of the pitch. Look at that.
We are 2 players away from a possible first pitch clear for this college class.
Yep.
Now, Rand, where does that put that on your Imperial map? Where do we get a pitch clear on that?
There's been no injury to a big guy yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, true. It's KOs, isn't it? So we've not seen injury in that respect. Here we go. Killer goes in, gets the POW on the Ulf.
This is the AV busted Ulf.
Yeah.
So, almost prophetically.
Injured.
Oh.
Just a badly hurt, but bad. Juju. So yeah, we might be seeing your scenario play out. What happens if none of the players come back?
Yeah, and that's a proper perm too. We're not even talking a KO roll there.
Yep.
Man, if I ever play AV7, remind me to buy Bloodweiser Babes by the bucket. Like, my goodness.
A bucket of babes. You can get anything at KFC these days.
Oh, that backfires.
Oh, it does.
That is not something you could have had. I mean, it's not a bad piece to have sent off, but that means 8 pieces maximum are going to be returning.
Mm-hmm.
Frenzy. Okay.
2 pushes.
Now, as much as I'd love to take that last player off the pitch, I think here Dakka should just score.
You just score.
Call it a good half as you removed 10 out of 11 players.
If I can get my bear to stand up, I will take the 3 die shot with my blitzer here.
He's got the taste of blood in his nostrils, and that bear is up. This is the shot. The bear.
Now, are we ready for the 1 in 228? I think it is.
The way this has been going, it's
math's probably way off on that, but
no reroll on it either.
Oh, he's going to try to go with the Mighty Blow piece instead.
Yep.
That might be a bit safer.
Yep, bringing the 3 die in on it too.
Mm-hmm. And there's a piling on opportunity here as well. There we go. Gets the pal.
Depending on how greedy he is, there's a foul opportunity as well.
Yeah.
If he goes for the foul, I think that is reckless.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I would be interested to see it. No, he doesn't. Okay.
That's a smart play, the right play, and the perfect play to get in the 1-0. Disappointing one, yes, but
so let's see.
I think he'd rather take the score.
Let's see how many come back. There is some dancing going on. There are some cheerleaders going on. This is the bit that we want to see.
It's always disappointing to see the cheerleaders and not have the best cheerleaders that are dwarves.
I beg to differ. I have my hideous orcs. Okay, knocked out 3, and he got the Yeti back. That at least gives him the opportunity to...
4 up. 4 up, my goodness gracious.
Yeah. Slightly beating the odds there.
I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see him only field 2 players, but, I mean, that's good that he got his players back.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference on turn 8, it just means that he can't punch very much. And, 3 was the maximum punching he was going to get. So, I guess we'll switch the view now so that we are following behind the Norse, given it would be technically their drive for this turn.
So the interesting bit is, we're 7 on 8 right now, with 3 still to roll at halftime. The piece that came on is a runner.
Yep.
Meaning he's another one that can target the bear pretty effectively with Dauntless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so this is looking much more positive for Dakka right now. Not Dakka, sorry, for Flipped right now. That could have been some really, 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 really unfortunate rolls on those KOs. So the players who are out are, we have a dude with Fend, we have a dude, Blodge Ulf, and we have a block lineman. So given what he's actually got back on the pitch, I think he's done pretty well out of that, really.
Yeah.
Guard boy
I'd be very happy if I was Flipped. The other thing is, he does have security gate. I was going to say, if there's a riot, you could see, but no, security gate's in place, so we won't see an extra turn.
So here's my scenario for you guys, and maybe you can weigh in on here. So if I'm Flipped, and I know that I've got up to 3 players coming back, and we know that Dakka has 0 bench left, do I take a foul here to try to get another perm?
I'm not sure there's anything worth fouling on that line.
Bingo. You beat me to it.
Yeah. Given the only player I could see him potentially doing a foul with is Grudge at the back here, because everyone else is too skilled up for it, or their skills are too valuable to the team as a whole. We've got a pause here? Yes, we have. We've got either a pause or a disconnect.
I think Ghaustos hits nail on the head, by the way. There's just no value in a foul like that, especially because statistically, you're going to have numbers in the second half, and you get to punch first.
Yeah.
You get 6, potentially 7 if one doesn't go down punches. You should get a piling on. You should have a mighty blow. You should, if it fires, get claw. It's hopefully you can use that just to decimate the team as opposed to having to foul them.
Yeah, I mean, you've also got a dude on there with tackle, so you can be hitting into dodge with a much greater level of success. I can't see a foul coming in here. I wouldn't, and I am a fouling maniac, so...
Now let me bring the other point up, just to contradict myself. If you get 1 or 2 removals off the line of scrimmage, I foul on the third one. Yeah, absolutely, without a question.
You might as well go for the full set if you're going to do that. That's the only situation where I could see that.
I probably would have had the runner back and the lineman up, but...
Yeah.
And the rare bear
kickoff. Ooh.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Really unfortunate. That's another KO.
But again, not horrific, all things considered.
Could have been a death. Or a perm.
It could have been anything that was, an injury for the game. That would have been catastrophic, because you're hoping to get numbers back. That piece is still likely to be back in, so...
Yeah.
Here comes the
and
pile.
Norse never known for the brains anyway, so head trauma and KO's not the biggest deal.
Yep. So here we go with the Yeti, I guess. Gets the POW. No.
And takes it to the locker room.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised we didn't see an attempt at a vanity pass, but I guess he figures that I might as well take it in the second half and find out if my KOs come back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the vanity pass still should have happened. You're absolutely right. Sometimes people don't think vanity pass, and that's not an issue.
Ooh, the only one who doesn't get up is the Ulf.
Which may be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
If I'm flipped, I feel comfortable enough maneuvering and navigating this with all the pieces he has on the field now. You're 9 on 8, you're going to get a free line of scrimmage, and you protect that AV bus. Oh, no, that's not even the AV bus. That's the good Ulf. I would have wanted him back. I take everything back. Give me him, please.
Yeah, so the good Ulf, the Blodge Ulf is off the pitch, unfortunately. But that runner is there. The runner with... where is he? He is hiding. Here we go. Fenrir
Dauntless is line, yeah.
With his Dauntless.
He's in prime position to blitz that bear.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, another hypothetical for you boys, because I just love giving them to you at this point.
Sure.
If I'm flipped, do I try to score as fast as possible and see if I can switch it up and make it 2-1 with the numbers advantage?
Yes.
Yes. Because right now, scoring means you might get your player back as well, and that's the good Ulf, like we said. And that means that even if none of the pieces go down, you are going to be 2 up.
I also need better hypotheticals now, I guess, because you guys answered that way too quickly.
Well, here, let me give you a hypothetical now.
All right.
If Dakka's piling on piece hits the ground, are you insta-fouling it, or are you trying to maintain your player advantage?
If his piling on piece hits the ground, I'm
let's
insta-fouling
see.
it. So long as I can at least get 1 assist in, I think you're insta-fouling it. Because if you can take that out, I think it's worth losing a lino with block 4. The value of it, yeah, the numbers advantage and everything, even if you just go back to even. So, and then assuming there is a second down in this, you get the Ulf back, hopefully, and that puts you back up 1 ahead.
I'll answer this a bit more complicated on my end. If I see it go down, if it's anything less than a stun, yeah, I'll go ahead and take the extra foul. But if I see it stun, I may try to do some removal first and see what else I can get off the pitch, and then come back and foul that thing later.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes lots of sense. You're running lots of 6s for these KO rolls. Just like blazing through the 6s on those KOs.
Yeah, I mean, we said it before, the easiest way to win this game is just roll 6s.
Oh yeah. 6s and POWs and you're all good. Actually, the easiest way to win this game is to roll no dice whatsoever. Because you can't fail if you don't roll.
That is very true.
Although
It's a little bit of an interesting setup here from Dakka, doing the offset line with his protection on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Flip decides to follow with his LOS and move him to the right as well. There's no kick, so it's not like he can do any coffin cornering or anything silly like that, so...
Yeah, it looks like he's waiting it. Could we be seeing an attempted Yeti blitz on the bear?
This is a really strong setup. I forgot how good Frenzy is for line of scrimmage setups. My word, that's a lot of power.
Oh yeah, it just chews through lines of scrimmage as well, because you are, even if you just get 2 pushes, you are pushing them twice out of position. You are just wrecking that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we could potentially see the leftmost, if we're looking at it from Flip's perspective, linemen go all the way down to the end.
Yeah. Yeah, Vorm, I did realise that, so you would at least have to pick up the...
Oh no!
Oh! Yeti goes down, Yeti is KO'd. That's 2 rocks.
Right,
Audrey's
so,
in the crowd somewhere, where is she?
Yeah, I was going to ask, do we have eyes on Audrey anywhere?
Why is Audrey killing Norse? What has... Maybe she's taking her fury out on them?
Professional jealousy, maybe? Like, you know...
Maybe a little bit.
She just wants to be the only Norse player.
Yeah.
Kill the other Norse.
I think we figured it out, boys.
Yeah, kill the other Norse and you're automatically the best Norse.
I guess that Flip does have 4 rerolls.
Yeah.
Now, I know the security gate doesn't do anything against Throw a Rock, but you would think they would stop ruffians from coming in.
No, that is just the Squig sandwich kiosk.
Apparently that.
Meaning sandwiches are better.
First block.
Badly I can't even get my joke out without another removal.
This has been crazy.
Though I guess if you're Flipped, you'll take all those KOs in the first half for all of the injuries that...
I feel like a genius, having said if you're Flipped, you like having all those KOs. I feel like John Madden right now.
Yeah. Yep, I completely agree, because those are players who can't be turned into perms. We are now seeing 5 people permanently off the pitch on the Kislev side, compared to 2 for the Norse.
And the pitch clear narrative starts to flip now, right?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, the big thorn in the side of that at the moment is the bear, but you've got players who can hit that bear on parity. There is the Dauntless player, who's sitting a little far back, the runner.
On this turn against the bear, but the stun comes out.
Everything is scary right now.
Medvedev is stunned.
But even though I'm losing players left and right, I'm still feeling okay as Dakka. As long as that bear stays standing and Flip doesn't have his Yeti out, I'm still feeling okay. It's not the worst thing in the world.
So here's what I do if I am Flipped now. I sacrifice Gludge Pelfire. Every turn, his job is just to stick on the bear.
Yep, I would agree. You stick him on the bear until he either dies or the bear gets bored and eats him or whatever. You know?
Well, he either has to blitz, have someone else blitz him free, or attempt to dodge with a 1 agi.
Yeah.
And you have block on that piece while the bear doesn't. So he'll get 2 dice, but you're still 1 in 9ing.
Yeah.
You know, that's... Ooh. I'd almost assume you'd see a blitz out of like Vladimir Putin trying to get rid of him if you mark in that manner.
I think that's the most likely outcome of that, and then that's a waste of a... here we go. That's a waste of a blitz on a lineman just to free the bear. Fails the pickup.
That's okay, reroll the spare.
I mean, now we're down to 3 rerolls. Perfectly planned. Well done.
I think he's just about done all he's wanted to. One player left to move, but I think that's just going to end up being maybe on top of the cage or maybe something on the side. Nothing more for him to do this turn.
And there's nothing with wrestle or anything like that on the pitch that could conceivably leap into that hole and hit the ball carrier. Not that I think he'd want to anyway, because there's no real way of recovering it from that position. Yeah, we I keep thinking, where are the rest of the players? And I remember go looking for them for a second. I'm like, oh yeah.
So 7 players this game have either been injured or sent off, plus additional ones for each APO. So we're looking at 9. Then there's all the KOs on top of that, which is at least, what, a dozen KOs we've seen this game?
Yeah, and that's in 8.5 turns. That is crazy. That's, what, averaging out at like 2 per turn?
So that's almost 24 casualties of some type.
They're just stat padding, that's what it is. There we go.
Before we talk about even, it was Vladimir Putin, interesting. Before we even talk about stuns.
Yeah.
You know, that's not even the conversation.
Yeah.
Now, the worst thing that can happen here, if you are... I was going to say...
Yeah.
If your Dakka is a bonehead from the bear.
Yeah.
Because he's expended a blitz to get that piece free. He's now got to figure out what to do. Otherwise, he's just going to get screened off. You know, even with your leap, I don't think it fixes the issue.
No.
Oh, that bear's going to get surfed.
That is not great. Yeah. That is prime surf territory.
Can you get the... Yeah, you absolutely can get the pieces in.
Yep.
You basically need to run Balrogs around to the other side to mark his top corner. I'd bring in the guard piece on the bottom. You'd have to stick someone else in there just to get the strength advantage so you can get Raw Headache to push him 1 square for you, and then blitz with one of your berserkers.
Yep,
GG, he's off the field.
Yep. Here comes the leap. Tags on ball.
Not a fan of that, but okay.
But does that make it much more difficult to surf that bear.
Oh, it doesn't? Just hit with the ball carrier.
Yep.
That is true.
Or, you know, you could hit with your...
The ball carrier.
You could hit with the berserker, rough mad punch, and then bring your other one around. That's probably better, because then it gives you the mighty blow on a lower AV piece, and you get to bring your other piece around and still hit and get everything off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting turn, in my opinion.
I do not like that leap. I think that leap was ill-advised.
We will see what happens.
So, did Dakka all he do is just move some pieces downfield with those last few guys? I feel like I missed something, but I don't think I did.
No,
you didn't.
Yeah, you didn't.
I think he might be trying to play for the draw now. Like, he understands how deep in it he is.
Yeah. Yeah, because this has gone from him looking utterly dominant to the complete opposite very rapidly.
Yeah, you spotted it out. Oh.
And a stun.
I thought another one was going on. I was like, no way, come on.
Piles on.
I forgot he could pile on. Yeah, true, that's a thing. His positioning's still fine. You need to bring everyone over, though, is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't see the bear getting surfed from here right now.
You can. So what you do is you take Balrogs Bristleclaw, run him up around to the corner. You might want to run him up, around, and above him directly.
Yeah.
Because then you take Neo Sharkbite 1, 2, 3, 4, and he can stand on the upper corner. You can then bring Tusk Snow Hands down on the bottom right corner, punch with Raw Headache to push him, and then blitz in.
Yes.
Somehow. Yeah, you could punch and follow, and then punch in a diagonal, and then push him out. There we go.
And just got to remember not to take a POW this time, because that happened last time and caused him a few more headaches.
He had to take the POW because it was a skull POW last time.
He could have re-rolled it, though. I think he still had a few left over.
Yep, here we go. The position is going to be right on. I'm over here.
The Audrey special.
I will be offering consultations all week long right now. Going to take the doctor tag from Doc over there. Be Dr. Rand.
Dr. Rand.
Positioning and surfing MD.
Dr. Rand, the admin man.
Oh, don't get started with that. This is the weirdest, 3 hours ever.
It's been a pretty
don't worry, you're
hectic
finishing
night.
it off with casting half-naked men.
Nowhere else I'd rather be. Ooh. Don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Reason being, he now can't get in without dodging.
Yeah.
So the mark should have been bringing Needlehook Sharkbite up above, pushing. He's just realized, and I had a POW I could have used.
Yep.
Can we salvage this? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's messy and I don't like it.
Yeah.
You can salvage it if you're willing to use a dodge.
This is that. Yeah. This is a very, very scuffed play because now you have a bear that's almost on the ball.
Yep.
Oh, brother. Yep, so the ball carrier movement was the big issue there.
Yeah.
Everything else was great up until that. You needed to bring your guard piece up around earlier. Actually to the spot where the bear is now, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he just got a little carried away there.
I'll be curious if post-game if we can catch Flipped either in chat or in here, whether or not he'll be a little upset about missing that bear play.
You could kind of see him when he did it, and he was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, there was that little pause, which is that crap. it's that
especially because he did have a POW on the table. He could have put that on the ground.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see how Dakka reacts to that. I think we will see Medvedev here probably come round. I'm not sure. None of the options look all that great when you have that few players, you know. So, do you try and take out Nilo Sharkbite? Do you then, once the guard is off, bring the bear in on Raw Headache, take off tackle, put the bear on the ball? Medvedev here can kind of come round the side here. But yeah, I can see him maybe getting on ball here, but I'm not sure.
So I think if you're Dakka right now, if you are going to go in, you have to go all in and find a way to get a shot on the ball.
We are on pause here, by the way, right at the start of the turn here. So hopefully no issues. I think it was Flipped who was having the issues with his computer because of the storm.
So here, if I'm Dakka, here's what I would attempt. I would attempt with my bear to hit. Oh wow, that complicates things I didn't see. Raw Headache's a fend piece.
Yep.
Do you know why I bring that up?
Because it means that that Mr. Snuggles here can hit him, but can't follow.
Duck. Yes, and I wanted to follow and get my guard in on everybody in there, leap a blitzer in, and hit the runner.
Yeah.
That was my, here's where we could totally do this.
Yeah, too bad no Juggernaut on that bear, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's in a conundrum.
This is a dilly of a pickle. We are still on pause,
So here, how about this then? Dakka's in a pickle, we know that. What's Flip's plan here on the other side of the ball? Because right now the numbers game is almost even. And I know he's got 3 guys on the sideline, but if he doesn't get that Yeti back, he could be setting up Dakka for a little bit of killing.
I think survive this turn is the first step.
Yeah.
And And then you still have a very viable surf on the bear.
Yeah, I think you go for the surf on the bear. If you can surf that bear off, then you're in a great...
You were not in pause. There are 38 seconds on the clock.
Oh, wow. Okay, what happened there? That was bizarre. Yeah, because when I was pressing escape and coming back in, we were...
It was the same for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened.
Some sort of disc...
You know what it might have been? It might have been a disconnect, which shows the same time but still runs the clock.
Yeah. So, going for push play here. Oh, clever. Very clever. He's just taken the fend out of the equation. The bear can get on the ball. That is really smart.
But that means he doesn't have the blitz to actually hit the ball.
True.
So you'll be able to just line up and unload on that bear if he does go into that. And then, depending on where you're...
oh, he double-skulled it.
Loner. Oh. That is the worst thing that could have happened.
Does mean the bear doesn't get surfed, though.
For the moment.
Yeah. Oh, drama. High drama.
For your money, do you take the punch onto Vladimir Putin with Rough Mad Punch on the jump up?
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
I would also bring one piece underneath to give him the 3-die.
Mm-hmm. Just goes for the 2.
Doesn't need 3.
Nope. Gets the hit. You pile on.
Absolutely pile on. Yep.
I know I'm seeing this from a commentator's perspective, but I just realized he technically could have surfed him.
Yeah, you're actually correct. Yeah, you could have done. Just float him around the side there and then surf him off. Frenzy,
yeah, you
Frenzy
can.
Frenzy is such a surf machine, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
it's essentially it turns one blitz into 2.
Mm-hmm.
As that's the easiest way I can think about it. It says, okay, I no longer have to worry about your well-crafted plan. Yeah. Here I go.
But alternatively, it becomes such a trap if you're not paying attention, and you end up blitzing into a 2-red.
Absolutely. I'm not sure I like this all that much. I get what he's doing here, but I'm not sure where you put the ball from here. You're going to have to spread these guys out and just forget about the bear if you want to get upfield. I mean, he could wait it out, but the longer he waits, the more opportunity he's giving to Dakka to pull something out and sack the ball.
I also hope he's not forgetting about Rasputin's ghost that's just standing or on the ground right next to the ball carrier.
Exactly.
That's a blitz if I've ever seen one.
Might be, might not be. It's hard to tell.
Okay,
oh
so
boy.
He's going for a screen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well done.
Nicely done.
He still has a ball carrier that's potatoed with a bunch of leap around, so...
Yeah.
Hey, who knows?
I don't like this because of leap, and I wonder if this is him trying to invite the leap, maybe?
Actually, no. This is fantastic leap defense, now that I look at it. He leaps into a tackle zone regardless of where he goes.
Yeah, you're
I'd
correct.
still take the 2-red from Rasputin just to see if I can get a hit on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rasputin, what he should do is just step and then dodge. Actually, yeah, he should dodge out and then onto the ball carrier, I think. Because that puts diving tackle on the ball.
Oh, you're saying don't even go for the die, just go put diving tackle on him, make him roll dice to get him off?
Yeah.
Then what I'd probably do is I would take the punch with the... No, you can't yet. Man, so many pieces on the ground, it sucks. Okay, take Rasputin's Ghost. Take Rasputin's Ghost. Nope. And, oh, the jump up could be nice, but you're still one dying. I would take Rasputin's Ghost. I would run him up under Miles' Drunk Stench. I would take the 2-die with Vladimir Nabokov, just hoping for a push. And then you can jump up. You'd have to take a dodge out from the guard piece there.
Yeah.
And run into a spot where you can leap in. So
do you take the risk and maybe blitz the bear and try to get the bear on the ball too? Put some prehensile tail?
No, because I would actually blitz the ball carrier this turn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what you do is you take Rasputin, you dodge him out into safety, then step onto the ball carrier, preferably above him. You move Rasputin's Ghost, the down lineman, all the way on the other side of the field, into that like top left corner he can run on the blodge piece, you would have to just pray and take your block on Miles' Drunk Stench, hoping for a push, or a stumble is fine. And you do not follow on that one, and then you take Vladimir Putin, step him out. You have to just pray the dodge works. Step up and into where Miles' Drunk Stench is currently, then leap over that -3 into the
onto the 12-yard line.
Yep, on the 12-yard line, and then you're able to go in. No problem.
No problem, he says, as one of the more convoluted tackles have just come out.
Yeah,
and that is only 7 squares of movement, by the way. So that would not even require a GFI.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, stand the bear up, stand up Rasputin, as neither of them are going to take part in this play, so you might as well take the 3 bits of movement there. We had another disconnect, maybe? Stopped at...
You're still going to need Rasputin, I think, based on that convoluted mess of people.
Yeah.
I said I was John Manning. You ever seen him drop plays? Okay, it's a little scuffed sometimes.
Can we get that as a add-on for one of your future streams? You just get a yellow marker out and start going ham on the stream.
I'm actually planning on doing that if I do wind up mentoring somebody. I'm fully planning on taking screenshots and mentoring, like, here's what you could have done. Oh, that was tackle! I forgot!
Yeah.
That's the reroll burnt very early in a complicated series of moves here that is necessary to get through.
While we have an interlude here, a little bit of an update from Sacred Resnor's game. We have another dead witch elf.
Oh god.
Nice! And there was much rejoicing.
Which witch elf? Was it a particular
Edelfin?
level? Was it Edelfin?
Wait, no, Edelfin's not his. No, that's not even his.
That's Hagrid. Edelfin is...
It's Joby.
Yes.
No, Meat Mannequin? Joby or Meat Mannequin, one of the two.
Yeah.
Bonehead.
That is a bonehead. This get...
Yeah, that was his blitz, too. That was his blitz.
Oh god, that was his blitz.
Oh no. Yeah, only getting reports of a dead witch elf. We're still getting details on which one it might be.
Perhaps this is my internet that's having trouble, because I'm seeing weird little fits and starts here.
You know what, Veda? I don't need that kind of negativity in Twitch chat. He goes, if you're dodging, why not just jump over and dodge away? God damn it.
Oh.
Bonk.
Bonk. It's gotta be the bonk.
Well, just about everything that could have gone wrong probably about did.
Goes for the leap.
There we go!
Yeah. There you go. He spoke to
You like Commandeer's curse there, but finish it off, why not?
Let's just do the final fail of the fails. So, I think... Yeah.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
Oh.
He's gonna have to dodge out of this, and he re-rolled.
Yeah. Yeah. Ow. Or he just punches with the ball carrier, I guess, and just accepts that he's not going to be scoring this turn.
Yeah, but then you're just giving Taka a whole nother chance to do exactly what he was trying to do last turn, this turn.
Yep. Really, he should be standing up Rough Mad Punch before he does anything else.
Well, he should just be punching the ever-loving crap out of Vladimir Putin. That won't happen.
Nope.
That reroll would have been nice to have.
Oh, really nice to have. This is high drama, lads. High drama. And that's a scatter and a half, isn't it? That is an eminently stealable ball.
Yeah, this turned into what could have been a very easy, well, I shouldn't say easy, nothing is easy in Blood Bowl, but a very doable tie game to a mad scramble for the ball as we see another punch come on in.
Yeah, and like I said, Rough Mad Punch, had he stood up there, would have made that a little bit more difficult. There gets up. So I think we're probably going to see the dirty player come up. and Rasputin's Ghost come up, and then if they can knock tackle off of there, you can recover with Rasputin. I'm not entirely sure where he can get to, but you can recover with Rasputin.
I'll be honest, in that little interlude while we were watching and waiting for his turn, I had to go double check to make sure we weren't missing players on the pitch that we just weren't thinking about. No, they're all there.
Yep.
That's all of them.
I've been doing that constantly. So, Rand, what would you do here? What would be your...
What I'm doing, I'm actually leaving Rasputin on the tackle piece.
Mm-hmm.
I am taking Rasputin's Ghost and marking Balrogs Bristleclaw.
Yeah.
So I can take the jump up blitz with Alex Novichok Petrov and following, so I can then run up the dirty player of all pieces to go and recover the ball.
Yep.
And then I am taking the 2-die on Miles Drugstench.
Makes sense. Makes plenty of sense to me.
I know we're a little early for that now, but Dakka does have an opportunity to try to recover the ball right this second if he wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, Jim and I talk about this all the time. We have a little clan Discord, so we constantly go on about theory and stuff. The two things we pretty much agree on is if you have a shot at the ball carrier, take it.
Yep.
And get the ball off the ground.
Yeah.
You know, those are two things that just make everything harder for your opponent. Because if he doesn't grab the ball, Flip can still plan every single second of his turn. In every single move. He has all the information at the start. If you pick the ball up successfully, which is a big if, I understand, your opponent then has to decide, okay, if I hit, where's the ball going to scatter? If I get the ball off of him.
Yeah.
You know, so it adds that extra variable of what's going to happen if I throw this. Because we were all saying, last turn, oh, this is so easy for Flipped. He's just got a blitz. It's a brilliant move. He'll get the player down, and he can run in. But because there was that piece there, and he managed to stay up, he goes, okay, now I have to dodge this out. And he went for that instead of some safer stuff. And now we've kind of flipped the tables once again.
Yep. Here we go. Jump up.
I'm going to mark 57 seconds on the clock. Weird stuff's happening with time in this.
Yeah, it's. I think maybe someone is having some router issues or something. But yeah, I've seen a jump up, but nothing happen after the jump up. Oh, there we go. There's the jump. The leap.
That was really strange instead of just
Yeah.
dodging out or just leaping to safety instead of taking another dodge.
Does he go for a pass here? I mean, he's stood right on the guard piece there. Yeah, I'm seeing weird things happening with the feed, essentially. Yeah.
Oh
pass.
boy, here we go. We're going to be off to the races here.
Yeah. Potato time. But there's literally nothing that can catch him.
There is a jump up berserker that can catch him.
Oh, he's got jump up, hasn't he? Yeah, that's 1GFI.
And that is a failed roll.
Yeah. This just doesn't want to make it academic, does it?
I mean, you just take your dirty player and send him immediately left of the ball carrier. And then, you know, you got to decide, do I want to take red die to do this?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, that blodge piece can make it one piece off now.
He's going to time out. Oh, no, he's not. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, no!
Oh,
If he gets sent off here... Okay, he doesn't. Man, that was close.
Enough.
oh. That was brave. Very brave. So yeah, here we have the blodge piece can get on ball.
So I think my play here is I try to run my blodge piece down first.
Yeah.
Just to get him on ball.
Yeah.
My sack is actually the next thing I do with raw headache onto the blitzer, the Alex Novichok Petrov, because then that allows my second piece, Balrogs Bristleclaw, to come down and mark the other lineman that's there to prevent a 2-die there. There's a lot of other stuff that has to happen past that I'm not going to be able to make work pretty well. But I'd probably go from there to taking the punch on Nilo Sharkbite to Rasputin, if that works. And then, I don't know. It's like it, right? That's all you got.
Yeah. You can... If you can drop Nilo Sharkbite, then you can get Vladimir Putin onto the ball as well. Yeah, looks like that's what he's going for.
Let's see if the blitz is next. I'm hoping it is. I think that's absolutely the right play for him.
He may be thinking that he can get the blitz in on the ball carrier with Vladimir Putin, though. Nope.
Oh, whoa, weird. Maybe he just decided, okay, I'll dodge out.
Yeah, so, yeah. I guess he is, yeah. That may be it.
The one kind of saving grace that Flipped has, Dakka can't score this turn. He has to take one more turn to do it, so he has at least one more chance to try to get at it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just left that one piece on the ball there.
Which, again, isn't the worst.
But
it's very easy to run the dirty player over to Mark again to get the 2-die, but...
Hold on. Vladimir Putin can get to him. Can get to Miles Drunkstench. If Miles Drunkstench goes down, then that's it. So Vladimir Putin...
Well, Vladimir Putin's marked right now. And you're on no rerolls if you're Dakka.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like, if that's what Dakka wants to do as Flips, I would welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead, dirty player down, get a 2 dice there, get the ball off, and move it again.
Mm-hmm. Does he risk the GFI?
No need to here,
No.
at least in my opinion.
Blitz is in. Oh, double skulls with no rolls.
Oh.
Okay, now I'm going to say my plan was probably correct. Because that would have brought the other piece down. You would have had free already.
Yeah.
Now you start to roll a 2-die. Actually... Rough Mad Punch. Yeah, he jumps up. I forgot about him sitting there. Gets the GFI in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the right punch. He does the correct punch, and he's going to bring it down. He'll have a 2-die on the ball here.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That is the danger of burning through rerolls. He didn't have much of a choice, but, man. Frenzy. 2-die again. Ball's free.
Ball's free.
And he doesn't mind that frenzy at all.
Nope.
Now, here's the thing. He didn't blitz.
He did not.
And you do not have Rasputin marked. It's going to be a pretty accessible recovery, I would imagine, for the 4-agi blodge step piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't going to use your blitz anywhere else. Okay, I stand corrected.
Just blitz into a skull, instant reroll into a pal. Now...
Oh my word.
That is huge.
That is massive.
And it's an M&G.
Oh god.
Quick mixed division. Who has Dakka next?
Yeah, that early Apo burn now is coming back to haunt him.
Yep. And that's the marking piece.
Yeah, it worked out. You could have done that without blitzing, and you could have had the blitz actually run all the way through to pick the ball up there.
Yeah, but that was a massive removal.
And now you're kind of just stuck on 1-dies everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. So we are going to see
If Flip gets his way around here, since I know there's a few Strength 2 pieces still rolling around on Dakka's side, he could fill up that injury and jail bench real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're spending a lot of downtime in this game, unfortunately, because I think there is some wackiness going on, either with the servers or with their connections, perhaps. So, who are your next opponents, gentlemen?
I have Nurgle. I have Halo up next.
And how about you, Kitakaze?
I'm actually sitting on a bye week, and my next opponent will be week 3 with Rand.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Fair enough.
yeah. Forgot about that.
We get the old classic human orc match again for round 2 and 3 games.
Yep. Personally speaking, I hope I used up all of Halo's bad dice in the first week, but I don't know if that's going to be the case.
I'm going to say Halo is actually one of the best matchups for me to have right now. I think he has one Mighty Blow on his team and no Claw.
Yeah, see, my last game of the season is going to be against the Moldy Shamblers. I am dreading it, because by that point, it's highly possible we're going to have MB Claw, we're going to have Claw Pommers even, potentially. So it could be that, regardless of who wins, we both lose, because we may just beat the shit out of each other. I get Focused next, so I get Woodies, and I get the War Dancer that I niggled in the last time I played him. I get to go and finish the job. I get to go and finish the job. So we have had the recovery here. Rasputin has picked up that ball. Isn't going anywhere further with it, though. So this is still eminently doable if you are flipped. But really, he needs to be thinking about having something in position to score now. In case he can get
getting reports that the BME Reznor game is going to be a 2-0 with 3 dead for Reznor.
Holy crap.
And a minus movement.
Oh, he went for the GFI and he failed it.
What?
Why?
That was something I did not expect him to do.
What did that accomplish?
Well, for Flipped, it puts him right back in the game. He could easily blitz off the lineman there.
Yeah.
So what you do? I think you don't even have to touch that line. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true. You don't.
I think you stick your guard piece in between both of those Kislev, just to get the assists. I think you actually blitz with Rough Mad Punch because it gives you 2 die to attempt to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then a frenzy if things go wrong. And then he uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He could base the ball from there. He would have to go for it once to pick the ball up. If you're going to say the issue is he's running out of time, you're damn right.
Yeah, he's got 2 turns, so he has to get something in position to score next turn and have a realistic chance of getting it to that piece.
He's still got 1 reroll. Do you risk the dodge here instead and maybe try to go for a play on the Rasputin's Ghost there between you and the ball?
I think what we're going to see is a hit with Rough Mad Punch on Vladimir Nabokov, and then we'll probably see the dodge out and the attempt to pick up with the blodger, Miles Drugstench. And then where does it go from there, though? You send it up the pitch and just hope you can get a pass off next turn?
If you're desperate, I don't think a punt is the worst thing, and a punt disguised as a pass isn't terrible. I probably would have blitzed there, to be honest with you.
I don't really see where else you're going to be blitzing.
I would have blitzed there just so I can move him up.
Yeah.
And what he might be doing, he might say, okay, I'm going to 1-die blitz Rasputin's Ghost here so I can attempt the pickup and then run into kind of a half-assed cage.
Yeah.
Because he'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He could base on the corner of Rough Mad Punch there. Yeah. So he's going to have an exposed ball carrier if he does pick the ball up at all.
I'm assuming Raw Headache is going to be the person that you're trying to get it to score with.
That's the only player in scoring range. You have to.
So you have to do something with him. There we go. That's the dodge. Goes for the pickup. Yeah, makes it. Do you get really fancy and try and get the ball to Balinar Bristleclaws here? I don't think so, because you're going to have to GFI just to get... It's... Hubster.
I'd almost say maybe try it when you still have the 1 reroll, but you just be leaving the ball carrier open regardless of how you want to do this.
We are talking Hubster grade passing required here.
Now, if he steps into base to base with Rasputin's Ghost, does he get the short pass instead of a medium pass?
It should be a short pass, yeah.
I think you still take the -1 because you're in base to base, but that means you have base to base with Rasputin's Ghost.
Yeah.
I think that's the move, personally.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Let's get another timeout of some type, because I'm up to 210 on mine.
Yeah, same.
And there's the first of the GFIs.
Just to make it even more difficult. Snakes it again. Oh.
Wow, that's... Oh, what did you do to Nuffle Flipped?
It is Rand, Dimmy. It's Rand and Kitakaze. Yeah, what did you do to Nuffle Flipped? I think that pretty much ends the game.
Yeah. If he can get a pickup and stand Rasputin up to block off Miles, that should be all she... Well, not quite.
I mean, he can get the pickup and then do 2 GFIs and score.
That is true, but with 0 reroll... Well, I guess it is a 1 in 6, 1 in 6, so not the worst. Or I guess 25 out of 36 if you want to roll it that way.
Is Dimmy watching us while streaming?
Is this like some sort of weird streamception? The streamer watches the stream.
Let's see. Wow, those deaths. I'm looking at the other match report real quick. Well, this is kind of in his final moments. Minus move allowance for BME's Beastman, who took the MVP to level.
Oh, God.
The 3 dead for the Hagriff Hellions was looks like a leveled lineman there.
Ouch.
Looks like...
Another rookie Witch Elf bites it for...
and a 19
Witch Elves.
SPP kick block lineman.
Oh, God.
That hurts.
That really hurts. This has been a really painful first week for a lot of coaches.
Gosh, and looking at the levels here, you get the level on the move allowance for BME. Actually, he leveled 4 players. A level on a Niggle Beastman. A level on his ball carrier, which will be huge.
Yeah.
Because he then has... What?
Oh,
looks like we might go for a pass play.
He's going for the vanity pass.
He has no rerolls.
He's failed the pickup.
He's going to get surfed.
Yeah.
So, if I'm flipped here, this is the chance for the crazy elf play.
Yeah. He's going to smash him off the ball there.
Jeez. Wouldn't be fun without another KO, right?
Yeah, why not pile on for the heck of it last turn?
Yep. Not doing anything else with him. Gets the KO. And, yeah, so... See the hit.
Ooh, incorrect punch, I think.
I would agree.
I think you punch down so you have an extra bit of movement there.
Yeah. Here we go.
It's still going to be a heck of a pass.
Oh, he failed the pickup. Yeah.
It's not going to be any pass.
Nope.
Reznor lost 320k TV there.
My God. That is crazy.
So he went from a 1640 Dark Elf team to a 1320.
Just get a skull just to end with.
Anticlimactic way to end that game.
I was trying to read stats and it just died on me.
That was an insane.
Oh my gosh.
That was about the punchiest game I've seen in a while.
Our breaks are perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Wow.
But one team is going to walk out of here with a lot more SPP than the other.
No, it's 32 split 15-17.
Yeah. These statistics
Really?
are mad. The Balrogs, 41 blocks succeeded, 2 KOs, 6 injuries. Crazy Russians, 28 blocks succeeded, 8 KOs, 3 injuries. That's 11 out of 28.
Oh.
That is scary.
Actually, Ghaustos, if you don't mind, keep that up for a second. I'm going to go take
sure.
a quick peek at each of these teams, and we'll see how, if anyone has leveled up. So, yeah, you can go through those dice rolls and those stats right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and take a look at each of the teams, and we'll see if we've got any level ups coming up here before we drop off of that screen.
Yeah, so
for the Thunderhide Balrogs, who do we got with the levels?
Tusk Snowhands got 5 SPP. Does that level?
No, but it would have at 12 out of 16.
Rough Mad Punch with 6.
Rough Mad Punch will not. He's on level 3, so he's looking for 31.
And then 2 each for Nilo Shark Bite, Miles Drunk Stench, and Low Puffle. Did anyone level, or are you just making names?
Not at all. No levels.
Wow.
So the match report just came out. There's not a single level that game.
Yeah.
So wow.
We want to look at some crazy dice. The 11 Crazy Russians rolled exactly double the amount of sixes that they did ones. 32 sixes, 16 ones. Balrogs, pretty even split. Like, you can't really complain about that. Slightly more threes than fours, but that's much for muchness. Pretty much exactly 31 sixes to 30 ones, and 19 respectively for fives and twos. Block dice. Let's see what we got. Yeah, pretty even. More both downs than stumbles, but pretty even on skulls and pows for the Balrogs. And then the Russians, actually more skulls and more both downs than stumbles and pows. That was a mad game.
Yeah, Dakka's block dice are crazy.
Yeah.
He has almost as many skulls as pows as pushes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was rolling all kinds of stuff, destructive or otherwise, but he didn't roll pushes, you know?
What an insane game, and what an insane game for nobody to level on.
And the best part is that last game that ended week 1 is going to be the final thing before the rollover, as we have our European remaining game has officially been admin. So all that's left now are the buys and the admin games, and we're on to week 2.
Should we take a quick look at the tables?
Has it officially been admin? I feel like I should know this.
Yeah, it looks like based on the schedule, Gashed Crushers and Orc Varieties. Gashed Crushers, I believe, is the AI team.
Yep.
Orc Varieties has been given the admin call.
Yep. So that looks like Meat may not be joining us. Okay, so looking at the Americas, we have Pangolin Madness would be admin presumably very, very soon. Leaderboard-wise, we have the Predatory Pocket Monsters on top spot, but their TV is significantly reduced. Then the Acrobatlers, then Battle Me Roans, then your Lost Presidents, then the Gamers, then the Cheap Beard Chuggers, so round you're sitting as 6th. Then Behagen's Team West, then the Warlords.
Wait, why did you say it like that?
What?
Why did you say Kitakaze, you're sitting at 4th? Why is it Rand, you're sitting at 6th?
I don't know.
What did I do to you?
That's just how it came out. 6 is my lucky number, actually. So,
hey, just think of it this way, though. We're both still undefeated. Still okay.
Yeah, indeed. And then, so we got Behagen at 7 with his High Elves, then the Nordgard Warlords, then College Crunch, and Audrey's Under Oath at the bottom there because of the TV difference. I don't expect this table to stay like that. I think there's a couple of teams who I think we're probably going to see slide down a bit. And schedule-wise for next week, we have You're on a Bye, we have the Acrobatlers versus... Oh, God. The
shitty hey welcome back match, isn't it?
It's like, hi, I'm Murder Dash, nice to kill you. College Crunch versus the Cheap Beard Chuggers, we already briefly discussed that. Team West versus the Predatory Pocket Monsters, so he's got to go into that High Elf team with a Saurus down.
Hold on real quick, I want to talk about this because I don't want to get too much into it on the recap.
Yeah, of course.
Tomorrow, so I want to kind of chat with you guys now.
Yep.
Do you think that is the best or the worst game for Vis to get coming back from those lost Sauruses?
I think it's 6 of one and half a dozen of another. I mean, he was going to have a strength advantage.
Yeah, I'll have to say I'm in agreement there. It's not the worst thing because he doesn't have to strength up against the elves, but he is going to be going in there wanting to punch elves.
Yeah.
But that means depending on what he buys back and how much cash he has, he's going in with 1 or 2 loner skinks.
I believe what was quoted to me earlier is that he's going in with 1 loner skink, replacing one of those Saurus, in that he could afford to replace one of them but not both.
I'm looking at him right now. He has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces and 50k in the bank.
Oh,
he's
God.
getting 2 loner skinks.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a really tough one. I think in some respects it's the best possible matchup he could get. In some respects it's the worst. If he was going in against, say, the Warlords, or Murta Dash's Pangolin Madness, then that would be terrifying because...
Hey there, Flipped. Sorry,
Hey,
I just...
Flipped. Hey, man. That was a crazy game, Flipped. Did that feel as crazy to play as it did for us to watch?
That was... And Slash, how sad are you about the missed bear surf that we saw you trying to set up? Which you were like one move away from getting.
Gotcha, form.
Yeah, just going back to the point while we wait for Flip there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's already made that replacement, as Vorm said.
Yeah.
He's got 5 Saurus, 3 Skinks, and a Crocs. If you can get some early removals, and I won't say what Visk will or won't do, but I might have a feeling that he may try to play the ball first if he has the coin toss. That's where he's just got to get as many elves off the pitch as possible and do as much damage as he can before the second half.
Flipped has just confirmed that...
Rand, I missed a fucking bear surf. Yeah, that kind of describes what we were thinking, my dude. We were like, oh, we setting up. You had the first move perfect. I was like, that's exactly what I would have done. It's going great. And then we see you move the ball carrier onto the bear. I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah, Dr. Rand Surf MD saw it, and then he saw you making just the one move that he didn't like, and oops.
Yeah, that's one of the craziest games I think I've seen, like, of Blood Bowl ever. That was bonkers. Yeah, it must have been fun. I expect it was pretty stressful as well, though, to be fair. Like, it was stressful.
I will say that, like, if you watch this backflip, it'll be an interesting VOD, because you were at one point down, like, 3 or 4 players to KOs, and I was like, this is going to sound weird, but this is going pretty well for Flipped, actually. Yeah. And then you started just... Every other hit was a removal with an injury. It was crazy.
It was a mad game.
So we were kind of split on the Team West Predatory Pocket Monsters, right? So you have Real Gamers and Norgard Warlords. So that's AIM versus Ziggs.
Yep.
/ Mr. T-Rex. And then Under Oath and RSM in a runback from America C.
Yep. Yeah, so it's a crazy week. They're all crazy weeks. That's the thing. Like I said earlier,
teams to 30, and those are the arguably 30 best teams out of the college group there.
I mean, I said in my game earlier, you know, I was looking at Gruffbar Zuffbar because Hub I think is playing them next, and I was like, I kind of want to play them, but I'm a little bit scared, and then it occurred to me. That's exactly how I feel about literally every team in this competition now. Like, I want to play them, but I'm terrified of them because every team has something about them that makes them a scary proposition.
I'll throw a little bit of shade. I would love to be in Europe right now. There's a coach. I'm like, they might be a little rough to play, but I'm not fearing for my team.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my schedule worked out, but like, holy shit, there's a lot of rough coaches.
I'm feeling a little bit cat that got the cream because I am arguably, one of the scary teams in there, and a lot of the teams that I'm going into, especially, I've just gone from pro elves into wood elves. Like,
yeah, I'm going to be talking about you tomorrow, a little bit because your form that game looked phenomenal.
Considering how sleep deprived I am and how I felt I played really badly in that first few turns because I was charging up the pitch and not really thinking about what I was doing, I kind of settled into a nice rhythm towards the end there, especially in that second half when I sort of let Crump run wild. But yeah,
Dimmy is lamenting not playing in Europe. Dimmy is because you said America coaches were easy, so you got put in mix. And what happened game 1? So what have we learned?
Mate, Dimmy, I am kind of sad that you're not in Europe as well because I would like to face the Cursed Cowboys at their full strength with my team, how they are now compared to how they were when we had our friendly. Because you were missing Butch, and I was missing pretty much everything really. I just had a very basic team at that point. I think it would be an interesting rematch. So I'm hoping you get to playoffs so that we can do that. I think Cursed Cowboys versus the Soul Touchers in the playoffs would be a good match. What is your streak, Flip Toast?
He had won. So remember, I had done in the recap or the pre-cap. I was like, "Wow, he was 8-2-3. Like, how did he not make playoffs? He was 4-2-3 at the end of the regular season. He shredded people.
Yeah.
In PSPU.
Yeah, I mean, he's shredding people now too. You know. Yeah, Dakka's got to be feeling like the next game he's going into is a bit of a scary prospect with the. That's 19 removals total. 19 removals.
I guess while we're talking about the next game, you want to flip over to Mix real quick, and we'll just rattle off the week 2. I know, Rand, we're kind of cutting into your recap a little bit.
No, it helps me because I can kind of get some thoughts out and collected.
Yeah.
What is I gotta see what this looks like now. Because I was saying BME is going to surprise some people.
Well, he's not disappointing with a 2-0 over Haggrave.
Yeah.
And he'll be going into 11 Crazy Russians, so he's licking his chops after all the damage done tonight. Well, not as terrible damage, I guess, after we look at the final rack of it.
Well, the Palmer is missing, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's really, really big in terms of like, oh no, he's going to remove me. That's one of 2 mighty blow pieces in the entire team. The other one being the bear.
Dino Riders Dimmy are a lovely lizard team, so you are going to have some fun with that one. They are Lil Hands lizards, who, excuse while it just loads in. So they are somewhat underleveled, perhaps, but they do have the Croc score, and they have some pretty beefy skinks here. So we could see some skink shenanigans for sure with all that sidestep. Underleveled on the Saurus side, unfortunately, but guard on the Croxagore is a big thing. That was just to answer Dimmy's question. We will go back to the schedule, so we are on week 2. Moonlight Riders Flipped are a delicious band of, here you go, Necro Boys with their wolves and their fleshies and their whites. These guys are stat freaks. You've got the baby fleshy with his 4 strength, and you've got the agile.
Oh, why do you call it that?
That's what it is. Baby fleshy, because that's what it is. It's a 4 strength.
What's wrong with
that? You've got a werewolf that is a blodger, and you've got an unleveled werewolf, unfortunately, because what happens when you have 2 werewolves? Quite often one of them starts hogging things. You've got a white with tackle and mighty blow, and another white with guard. So it's a very spare squad. 9 players, goes in, lowish TV. Well, it's quite high TV for a 9 player squad. They could cause some little problems for your flippedy toasty boys. But yeah, there's a lot of really interesting matchups there. So we've got 2 lizard teams. So we've got Jim versus some lizards. So that'll be fun. We've got Dim versus some lizards. So that'll be fun. Smoked and Cured get the bye. Which means they avoid taking any damage for this week, which is always nice for a high health team. Head Collectors versus Edgy Boys, that could be quite the match. And yeah, I'm looking at those 2 bottom matches, and that's going to be, I think, where we're going to see a lot of action. So the Riders versus the Balrogs, and the Russians versus the Hellions. So yeah, it's a good week again. What do you reckon, lads? I mean, not to cut into your niche, I suppose, Rand.
Yeah, you're like, I got Rand on the desk. We're gonna go through it all.
We're gonna go through it all. Well, we'll take a look at yours in a second.
What do I think?
Just as a general thing, what games are you looking at here? Don't pick a favourite, but pick say 3 that you're kind of interested in the outcome of more than the others.
I'm interested to see Flipped again. I mean.
He's still complaining about missing the surf.
But here's the thing. So he misses the surf, right? And that was big because that brought all the pieces in.
Yeah.
He then had the really unfortunate reroll on the Blodge step catcher.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get that to work. And then he misses the dodge. So it was like boom, boom, boom. 3 bad things. And he managed to just Kislet out of there as Dakka. So like... Man, what do you do if you don't get 7 removals in the first half on KO for him?
Yeah.
Like, he managed to still punch and stay competitive through the entirety of the first half. Mm-hmm.
And we're not even going to talk about the rocks either.
Yeah, that's not, the rock too. We missed the Yeti the entire second half from a rock. You know, it's and it turns out Dakka said that he actually had 2 bribes, so he bought a bribe pregame, I believe. So that means it was a sloppy game. You know, it wasn't. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. It was just one of those games where like the dice acted up so hard.
Yeah.
And at all the wrong times too.
Yeah, I don't know who's better in that matchup. Like, total kudos to Dakka for winning it, but like that could have absolutely gone either way with some different roles.
Yeah, I mean, because
both sides kind of
because of all the crazy bullshit that was going on. It was one of those ones where it was kind of like there's just stuff zipping at you from every angle. So yeah. So
you asked me what I'm looking at. So that's probably my number one, because I think that's probably the most balanced matchup I think on the week. I mean, just going down, and this is completely off the record and not an official part of my recap, I will say, I'm taking Dimmy in his game, I'm taking Jim in his game, I'm taking BME in his game, I'm taking Dakka in his game, and I don't know for the last one. It's a toss-up for me. Like, this is probably the quietest week you're going to see out of Mixed.
Yeah.
Like, this is absolutely loaded. I think there's a bit of a clear delineation between some of the top-tier tables, or top-table teams, and kind of the mid-table teams. There's really not a bottom-table team in this entire division.
No, there's no one that I can look at. I don't think there's any in any of the divisions really that I would look at and go, they're going to be on the bottom of the table. You know, and all it really takes is, you know, we've seen so much of it already. All it really takes is a couple of really lucky removals, and suddenly a team is potentially in freefall. You know, we talk about it quite a lot. I use it as a prime example, really. What happens to the Cursed Cowboys if Butch dies? What happens?
Yeah, that was kind of my like preseason thing I talked about a little bit, and like it's not a knock on Jimmy. I called it greedy chaos, but like it's true. Like when you're looking at it, so let's say BME with his chaos team, I almost guarantee. I can't guarantee it. I was gonna say Scruffy Hair, the block Mighty Blow.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he takes guard, right? He might take claw actually. Or piling on potentially. He can keep that move allowance bust and just stick a guard on him.
Yeah.
You know, and say, fine, he's not going to block people, but he's going to stand where I need him, and he's just going to, you know, muck about. And that means you have 2 guard on that squad. And if you look at Dimmy's team, I know I'm bouncing around a lot.
That's all right. I'm going to pull
got
Dimmy's team as well.
Yeah, Dimmy's team has 2 guard.
Yeah.
So, like, even that strength, the only advantage you have there are the plus strength. But for the GOAT, doesn't matter because horns.
Yeah.
On your turn, you can equalize that very easily. It's harder to neutralize Butch, but anytime he hits the ground, people are going to jump on him.
Yeah. I think that's the one consideration where stat freak teams are concerned, is that because the stat freaks tend to start hogging all of the plays, they can quite quickly run away from the rest of the team. And yeah, those are the ones where you're kind of looking at it and going, well, what happens if that piece goes? And what happens if that piece goes? And what happens if that piece goes? Because they become such an integral part of the strategy in some respects. I mean, it's like for me, if I lose Crumb Teeth, then I'm kind of like, oh shit, what do I do? But I don't know.
I just had a heart attack. I was looking at the teams. I was like, how the hell does Flipped have 1,810 team value? He has 220k in the bank, so he needs to burn that.
That's cash to burn.
Whoa!
But they're monsters.
Yeah, I think you'll take the cake for highest team value.
I think going back to this, when I was saying like there's really, I mean, you're gonna have to see some rebuild now from Resnar, which is a little unfortunate. But like going to Carl went 2-2 against Lizards this week with a pretty still decimated Dark Elf team.
Yeah,
and should have won 2-1.
Yeah.
He just, like, he did the same thing I did in my game where, like, the last couple turns just didn't think. And it got him. But, like, it was impressive that he was up with strength deficit, with TV deficit, and everything. I mean, he managed to really ball out. So, like, he's a lot better than people give him credit for because he had a rough season in C.
Yeah, Vorm. All of what we're talking about really can apply in completely the other way. You know, sometimes you feed the stat freak guys, so they just turn into assailable killer pieces of hell from hell.
Well, he's mad at me for the cast I had of his game. Because, like, in fairness, you, like, didn't do much until they really mattered, and then you were great with them, but it was just like, come on, man.
So, while we're about it, let's jump into Euros and just take a look at that. So, I'm just going to very quickly just pull up the leaderboard because we want to look at who's at number 1. We didn't do it, actually, with Mixed, so we'll run through the leaderboard in Mixed very quickly as well. So, Mixed, we have Jim on top, then we have the Head Collectors, then the Dino Riders, then the Russians, then Dinos for Sotek, then the Edgy Boys, then Thunderhide Balrogs, Smoked and Cured, Cursed Cowboys, and then the Hagrav Hellions are at the bottom. But I want to stress that when I say like at the bottom and things, because it's been only one game, this can very rapidly flip. So all it takes is for, say, Jim to get done over, and the Hellions or the Cowboys to win their next game, and they're kind of jumping around all over the place. So after one game, you can't really say much about anything really in terms of the leaderboard. But you look at some of this. Look at the Russians. The Russians are currently on 1080 TV going into their next game. They've been properly battered, but that means they're going to have this huge amount of TV on. Who is it they were playing? They are playing. The Hellions.
They're playing Resnor.
Yeah.
Actually, so that's actually 150.
Yeah.
Oh, 250. 250.
250.
That's actually a lot. That's a big person. Yeah, they're bringing in somebody.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, since Europe's games are all essentially resolved at this point, unless they give an admin draw to Lava Lamps, because I forget if he was supposed to, do something or not, all 3 divisions will have 4 teams, I believe it is, with or 5 teams with wins, 5 teams with losses, and 2 teams with draws.
Yeah.
I did my math wrong there. No, I did my math right. 12 team divisions, so they're all going to be mirrors of each other.
And when we look at the makeup of the Euro division here, we have me as number 1 going into number 2 next week. So focused on his game, and there's not really anything in terms of TV between us because I burned off my money by sacking and rehiring a MNG'd Black Orc. Then we got the Edgy Speedies, we've got Toysaurus, we've got the Topes, we've got Gruffbar Zuffbar, we've got the Gloctors Amazons, the GNTM 1449ers, and then the Eagles at the bottom there. Schedule-wise, we have Gruffbar Zuffbar versus the Topes, which is a rerun of a PSPU game. We have the 1449ers versus the Avalon Eagles, so that's the bottom 2 teams at the moment going into each other. He lost against the Edgy Speedies 1-0 earlier today. So we have the Edgy Speedies going in on the Mouldy Shamblers, who got the bye this week, I believe. And then me versus the Packers, and Toysaurus are currently on a bye as well, I think, because we're missing teams here. So for me, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Gruffbar Zuffbar versus the Topes. I'm looking at the Joby. I'm looking at the Eagles versus the Amazons to see who can bounce back from the defeat. I'm looking at my game, obviously, because I'm in it. But again, it's really hard to pick games here because they're all potentially, apart from the buys, obviously, potentially really, really interesting matchup. The Speedies versus the Shamblers. We've not seen the Shamblers come out of the gate yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. These divisions are so open. Like, any coach on their day can beat any other coach. I mean, you look at the Shamblers, they're not quite there yet. They're missing a Pestigore, but that's going to be cleared by this bye week. They're going to start pulling out some stuff soon. I mean, you've got several players who are ready to explode. There's some scary teams in all of the divisions in their own ways. Although I will acknowledge the fact that the scariest division by far is America's.
Well, we'll see. It's always end of the day. You got to make the call when things are settled and done.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. This is weird to talk about looking at the week 2 schedule. The week 3 schedule is going to be important. Lava Lamps will not have played the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
He's on double buys and he goes into a Pro Elf.
Yep.
I got that one circled on my calendar as a what the hell's going to happen there. Yeah, interesting. So Europe is going to be kind of like America C was, where America C just had a teeny tiny division that played a couple games here and there a week. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot going forward that's going to be really interesting. And like you said, yeah, week 3 looks super impressive as well. I mean, I don't know, when you're looking at this, what games would you pick out? It's probably all of them, again, because there's only really 4 proper games that week. So, all 4, really.
I think your division, it's all about you and Focused.
It's going to be... It's a rerun of my last game of the season, and he stuffed me 3-1, but I had no tackle back then, and I did not have Killer Crumpty from Hell. So... and he didn't have a niggled war dancer, so I think this may play out differently. He may just style all over me and score like 4 touchdowns, though. Send me plummeting back down the table where I belong.
So I actually watched his game versus Troy. It was a weird game.
Yeah, I've not caught as much as I would have liked to have done as yet, but yeah, from what I understand, it was a bit of an oddity.
Yeah, I've been trying to catch as many first week games as I can just to see how people are dealing with the competition, because I truly think it's been ratcheted up a level where most people felt like they had a game or two where they're like, that's a sure win in college. We're like, it's gonna be fine. It doesn't seem the same. You may still think someone like, oh, this guy's trash or that guy's trash, but
I don't think I've seen a single coach as yet who I would go, oh, that guy's trash. Like, there's coaches who I'm looking at who I think I could definitely beat them.
I got this human coach in a week that I think is going to be easy.
I wouldn't count on that, but that human coach might have something to say about it.
I'm just going to fire everyone and hire Morgan Thorpe.
That's fine. I'll put a wizard barrier on the stadium. We'll call it even.
I don't need a wizard when I got Morgan Thorpe. He's a 16-turn wizard, baby.
But kind of speaking back to one of your earlier points about the strongest division, the real question I think you may want to ask and look at each of the teams when you, and Rand, I'm sure you'll touch on that in your power rankings come week 2. Which teams have that one player that if that player goes down, it's game over for the next few weeks?
Yeah.
Teams that are built more evenly will have a lot more reliability and will be a lot more sturdy to that one player going down versus, say, a team that definitely relies on that one killer piece, and once that's gone, it's, well, you might as well send the rest of your guys off the pitch too.
Yeah.
Is that you calling yourself out?
In a way. I do admit I do have that one killer piece, but I don't feel quite as bad about the rest of my team because I have levels on just about everybody.
No, I was going to say, you can pretty much... I'm looking at your team right now, like, your thrower, your blitzer, and your catcher, and you know the 3 I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. The 3 of them, it's hard to remove all 3 in a game if you're playing well.
Yeah.
Any of them have the potential to carry that. So it's... But yeah, I totally see your point. You know, like, there are teams that could implode with one critical injury.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to be seeing later down the line as soon as this slog of the first few games... Americas especially, but I'm also looking at Europe. If those elf teams can survive the first few games and get over to face elf teams, it's really going to be who comes out of it and doesn't have the battered team, who doesn't have the one key player go down. If you've got, as Vorm in chat goes, my team's excessively balanced. If you don't have that excessively balanced team, you might be in for a rough ride coming the next 4 or 5 weeks until you either can or you realize that your TV value is so poor that you might as well hire on mercenaries to fix it out.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of make or break time for the teams this season. I think everything was pretty much recoverable from the end of college, with a couple of exceptions, maybe, of teams that got really dicked over. I'm thinking of Quardle Pleen's Skaven here, the clan. They got a rough ride towards the end there, so I can kind of see why they didn't come back. Arguably Carl. I love that Carl stuck with his team, though. I think that's brilliant. This is going to be the point where we may see the end of the road for some of these teams. particularly in Americas, because all it takes is a really, really nasty game against one of those many, many killer teams, and you could end up with no team left. So
well,
see.
If you caught the Audrey stream the other night, I think her line was, "I'm not in it to win anymore. I'm in it to kill everything."
Which is a terrifying thing to hear from Audrey, because
she's already in it to kill everything. So if she's now excessively going out to kill everything, then we're talking potential genocide.
Yeah, I'm not going to be looking forward to that matchup, but yeah, as Rand put it in the pre-cap, we'll call it, week 2 is going to be the week that we see everything start to shake out. We're going to see the coaches that have shaken off the college rust or the off-season rust. We're going to see which teams are still living by that point.
Yeah.
And we're going to start to see the wheat come from the chaff at this point.
Yeah, I think so. And I also think that we are also going to see this week one very, very key thing, which is Audrey screaming swear words at Rand again, because he doesn't put her in a power ranking in the power rankings. I mean, does killing lots of players count for power rankings, though?
No, I don't give a shit about killing. No, the power rankings are kind of one of those ones that's... I don't know how familiar people are with college football, is where I get power rankings from. It's kind of a look at people's form. So it's not like if you kill a bunch of people and you blow someone out 4-0, to an extent that can be dumb luck.
Yeah.
I got I play in a different league with Jim and BME, and I took over Chaos Team. In my first game, my opponent went 6 for 7 on 1-die POWs.
Wow. And
it's like, yes, I still could have won that game, don't get me wrong, but sometimes stuff like that comes in and you're just shaking your head like, what the hell am I supposed to do when there's all this stuff? So I don't always rank high just because people win games. I like to try to keep the top 1 or 2 from each division up there, but you got to look at how people are performing and what kind of their strategies are, and who wins when they're lucky versus who's drawing when they are kind of unlucky, and who's been learning and developing. So it's a lot that goes into it. It's really tough to sit down and say, all right, these are the 9 best, because it's really not the best. It's just who I think is playing well at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's good that we can kind of spitball about it a little bit, because obviously when you're doing your recap, you're on your own, so it's difficult for you to kind of pick at your own reasoning. So hearing that explanation for it is pretty cool, I think, and you do a good job of explaining it anyway. But it means we can kind of ask silly questions like, do kills count?
But yeah, so here's what I'm thinking of right now. So there's 2 ones that I've laid pretty heavily, actually 3 really. The first one was Ghaustos. He lost 2 big pieces and has to play for the first time with I think the first time with a loner.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 2 loner skinks.
Mm-hmm.
Because the skinks are their lineman equivalent. So he's going to be down a source for the entire game, which I've never seen him do before. So I'm curious how he plays with it. Mm-hmm. Is that enough to bump him from my 1 spot? I don't know. Jim was in 2. Jim looked really good.
Yeah.
Then again, Timmy, if you watch the stream, had imbibed quite a bit.
Indeed.
What's the result there? Dimmy lost and is super down on himself, but he took no injuries and just kind of like, there was some real boneheaded moves. It's like, do I drop him? He was playing my number 2. Then the other one is Flipped. Like, do I drop Flipped? I still think Flipped's team is amazing. Mm-hmm. He really didn't take any damage that game. Do I drop him out? Do I put Dakka in? I'm probably flipping B. Hagen for Vorm is what I'm going to do, because I really liked Vorm's play and I think his team is shaping up. Yeah. But again, I have to sit down and look at 32 coach now. What's 33? 32 now that Meat's gone, and say, okay, who are the 32? Where can I kind of stratify them, and which one do I want to say, yes, this is the one I'm going to, kind of hang my tag on for them?
You say 32, it's 31 because you never put yourself in
the
power rankings. It's only 31 because you never include yourself.
Oh, that's true. I still rank myself internally. Like I put myself in there. So I know where I think I land, and I probably would have put myself at like
So is that why we never have a top 10? We always have top 9 or top 11 instead of 12.
I was going to do top 8. So the top 16 last season was because there were so many coaches.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to do 2 from each and then have 4 spots so I could kind of pick which division do I think is playing well right now. Mm-hmm. I did 9 this season so I could do 2 from each division that I think are doing well. Because I don't think any division's so head and shoulders over the others right now. To the point where it'd be like, here's 4 from this division. It's just not a division like that.
Yeah.
There was in college, and I was super high on America's B, I think it was at the start, when they had not just Viscardus, but they had Short and Chaotic, which was the Chorf team, and the Killer Bees, which was the Dark Elf team.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them were playing like monsters. You know, and like, I think Short and Chaotic only played like the first 4 games, and he came in, like, he wasn't in last in that division at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like, that's how crazy it was. So yeah, I think there were some really good divs in college that kind of got smashed. I was probably a little sour on my own division because I didn't understand how good it was playing in it at the time. And looking back on it, like, oh, it was a meat grinder. But this season, yeah, I wanted to be able to say, okay, I'll pick 3 from each if I think everyone's balanced and playing well. If I think one div's playing over the other, I have no problem giving them 4 and the others, 2 and 1.
Yeah.
And I'll do that. I'm not above it. Or 2 and 2.
And this is precisely why I don't envy your job, because that's usually done by a committee to rank the top, well, for college football, top 25, and then the rest of the nation.
Hey, that's a real cool idea.
Have like an actual committee to
have a committee that submits ballots on who they think is the best.
That'd
be really cool, wouldn't it?
They do have the coaches poll. So
I was thinking that'd be really fun to do with college.
Yeah, it would.
Flipped his. And I don't get to
flipped in chat. Cough, cough. 3 pieces on the pitch.
I know. I talked about it. Yeah, so it's one of those things. And whenever I try to bring something in, I like there to be ambiguity in it, and I like there to be discussion to be had. Yeah. Just because it makes it so much
like tilting coaches when they're not on the list.
Yeah.
I still feel pretty good about, because I forget what I put as my first 9 that were in. I'm trying to find my notebook now, and I have no idea where I put it. Because I have like 9 notebooks that I work out of.
Well, I know me and Kitakaze were both in there, I think.
Yeah, which I think you proved at least the initial peg for you there really well done.
Well, thank you very much.
the 2-0, it wasn't like a fluky 2-0. It was a pretty well controlled, methodical 2-0, which is good for an orc coach. I'm thinking this one, Jim won, Dimmy lost, but at the same time, it was 2 coaches playing each other that were in my top 9.
Yeah,
someone's got to lose, right?
Yeah.
I think B. Hagen lost, and that was a bit of a speculative one. But, Vorm slides really well into that slot that I had, where he's like, he's an Agi coach. He could do really well if he manages to Agi. Yeah. And that was a game where you almost saw a draw. It took a turn 16 wild play from Vorm to bring it a 3-2.
And let's face it, B. Hagen has a huge opportunity to jump straight back in by putting one over on depleted Viscardus.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of the ones that are up there, I felt good about it. I know Audrey gave me some grief for not being up there, but I was like, your team's kind of a bit behind the curve right now after the lumps you took, and you're playing into Viscardus. And it kind of went exactly as I thought it would. Who else did I throw up there? I forget.
Murty.
I know AIM made a little bit of noise, so I didn't put him in, but it's like, I knew his week 1 game was against me, and I felt really good about my chances, and like, he did a great job scoring.
Yeah.
But it was like, holy shit, the ball hit the literal ground and you scored. So it's one of those ones where it's like, if you need those kinds of plays to win, yes, there's a ton of game that goes on behind it. And that's why he's like saying, like, oh, you scored on turn 16, that's terrible. It's like, no, you scored on turn 16. That's what you need to do. It's just there's some coaches I was much more confident they were going to win and be better developed with where their pieces are. I still think there will be major changes throughout the season.
Yeah.
Like if I'm like my dark horses that I picked in each one, who did I pick for Europe? I picked Focused. I think that was a great pick in retrospect because his biggest challenge was Troy Tempest, I think. And like overcoming Gruffbar Zuffbar week 1, 2-1, man, that looks pretty good. Now you don't have to deal with tackle everywhere as you develop the rest of the season.
Yeah, and like I always bring up Focused when I talk about how things can change, because Focused for the first 4 weeks of college was my pick to just run the table on the division, and then he started racking up the injuries and he kind of slid a bit, and then he put 3 past me in the last game of the season. He's a really good coach. He just got some rough luck. So there's going to be a bunch of teams that maybe didn't do so well in the college division through luck or through inexperience or whatever, who've made that jump up in terms of their play or just get the right kind of luck, and they're going to come out of left field and they're going to surprise people.
I mean, I think my head scratcher, and like I wish I could pick a head scratcher for each division as like I don't know what's going on.
Like that absolute time you can.
Well, that's the thing. And like I think it's a little negative, which is why I don't like to do it as part of the recap, because I try to keep that as like a mostly positive thing. I don't want people like to go be like, all right, how's Rand going to shit on me today? Because that's not what it's.
Absolutely, that's not part of that.
It's like it's about how people are playing, and like who's doing well is always what I focus on. It's more exciting to come around and see who's doing well. Like, which is why I've been so complimentary of Flip. Like, I think he did really well. I think he had some shitty dice. I think Dakka did really well, but it's like someone's got to win, or if you draw, you draw. But like I think my head scratcher would have been Audrey as like I don't know. Maybe she removes your entire team in 3 turns. Maybe she doesn't. Yep. No one really knows what's going on. Vorm was another one that was in there, because Vorm kind of never got the levels he needed at the start of the season, and that put him behind. And those are like the Americas ones I had big head scratchers about. Probably, again, Flipped would have been one for me. I did put him on there, but it's kind of going on faith. Reznor was always there, because I know he's a hyper aggro coach. He was one who was just like, I'm just going to like potato on turn 2. And it's like, whoa, what are you doing? But it's worked for him in the past.
Yeah.
If I didn't know BME so well through Clan and the other league, he probably would have been a head scratcher for me. I still think he's going to be on there as a dark horse for me for a while.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets more results like he did this game, his team's going to explode. And Exploding Chaos is not fun for anybody.
No, Exploding Chaos is one of the least fun things imaginable.
And you make a good point, too. A lot of these college coaches, especially you talk about Chaos, you talk about Nurgle, you talk about Dark Elf in a sense, they're not good starting teams.
Yeah.
And, okay, they can win, they've got their pieces, they've got some strengths, but they're not what they could be when you get them up to higher TV, when you get some development going.
Agreed.
And then there's other coaches, and I'm going to include humans in this because we are very much suspect to this. You get up into the higher TVs, and it's like, well, humans are fine. They're not good, they're not great, but they're not bad, and they're not horrible. They're just fine, and that could go either direction very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hi Kislev indeed.
Putting in with Kislev too, right?
Yeah, so it's one of those ones. Things go like that, and the head scratchers for me in Europe, one of them would have been Glockta. Glockta was on fire in college, and he played an Amazon team, which is notorious for doing well out of the gate. He has a really nicely developed team with like strength up here and mighty blow there, and like the pieces you need. But he hadn't played for a long time. Like he didn't log a game for like a month. And I watched a bit of his game, and he failed like 3 shorthand pickups in a row.
And then,
so like,
yeah, from bitter experience, failing 3 shorthands pick up in a row is one of the.
Yeah, it's like I just don't know what to say.
Yeah,
it's hard to say like I know what he's gonna do in this season or not. I mean, Troy is probably my other big question mark there as well. Old Yeller for a while I had as a big question mark because like his team's been decimated.
Yeah, sorry,
and again this week too.
I'm sorry, Old Yeller.
He's walking into week 2 with 3 MNGs.
To his credit, I did say I'm kind of sorry, and he was like, "Hey, it is what it is. You do what you got to do."
But here's the thing:
the point where I was like, "Oh, I don't really need to pile on here, but I'm going to."
He needs to get rid of that lineman. He could probably keep that lineman. But here's the thing: I was watching LEB's stream because I don't know how to play Agi teams. I'm going to be the first to say it. I play Wood Elves and Upstarts, and it was like, what am I doing? It's like driving without brakes.
Yeah.
But she said you'll see a lot of really good teams that make it very far in main leagues for like Wood Elves and Pro Elves, where it's like 2 really developed War Dancers or Blitzers, 2 really developed catchers, and like a decent thrower. And all the rest are loners. And it's like, that's the play style. Like, you just try to sustain through injuries and protect the really important pieces.
Yes.
So like, it goes back to that previous point, and sorry, I don't want to harp on this too much, but it's one of those things where the important pieces are all balanced out. They're still important, but they're protected, and you still have a team that can get through all those injuries, all those loners, and make it as far as you can.
Well, then here's the other thing I'm going to throw out. We're now seeing team values that are cresting 16, 17, 1800.
Yeah. Yeah, which is...
what can you do with 550,000 gold in inducements? You know, we've not seen that in this yet.
No.
We've never seen this in the minor college split. You know, the rookie league has not been one outside of like DK playing inducement zones. How do coaches? I was gonna say,
that was something else to see.
That caught me. As the one who took it on the chin because of it. Yeah, woof. But how are these coaches gonna play with inducements?
Yeah, and what are people going to go for? Because it used to be, you know, you would kind of the most impressive thing you would see coming out would be a wizard, and now it's going to be potentially, there's a couple of matchups that could potentially happen somewhere down the line where you could see, say, Griff coming out, or Zog even, or, you know, Morgan Thor. Can you imagine Morgan Thor?
Well, and I mean, I've talked about college as going in phases. And the first phase of college to me was like, you know, baby's first Blood Bowl. Like, okay, hit with block first, stand your pieces up, take your free actions. And everyone's like, oh, okay, I get it. Then it was tackle zones and guard started to become important. People were like, oh, yeah. And Mighty Blow was kind of mixed in there as well.
Yeah. Then
it became kind of the era of Dirty Player, where a bunch of coaches started spamming Dirty Player at the same time.
I think I was one of the first to do that, and I think the first...
You and Audrey, and Audrey are probably the first two I can remember. And then piling on became the big thing. And I think minors, what we're going to see, I think we're going to see inducements play a consistent role. I think we're going to see the rise of Claw later on in the season become something that coaches are really concerned about. And Claw doesn't always guarantee a removal, but it changes how people play, which is the biggest thing about Blood Bowl. If you change how your opponent plays, that piece is already affecting them in a very positive way for you.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see the first Claw Palmer come out as well. And
another one I think I'm looking forward to seeing, especially toward the end of minors, is the counterplay to block and tackle coming out. Because tackle's a very, very missed thing right now, but it becomes so much more important later on.
Yeah. The other one that I think is quite interesting that I've noticed from watching games a lot is the demise of the cage as the default tactic for a lot of teams. Me saying that, I caged like hell in my game, but I've seen a lot of teams start breaking down into screens rather than cages, and not even necessarily the teams you would expect to be doing that. So it's going to be interesting seeing how people's tactics adapt to the changing landscape, and a lot of it I think is going to be who adapts the quickest to the changing landscape. So there are teams out there who I think will present as kind of big scary teams that people will build towards, and it's how they behave after they've hit that big scary team. I mean, Murty's talking about his need for claws so he can get doubles. I would put Murty in that. People will be looking at their match with Murty and dreading it coming up, and to an extent they'll be building their team towards that match. So if you've got Murty, say, 6 weeks in or something, you're going to an extent you're going to be building to try and prevent Murty from pitch clearing you. But what do you do after that if you've built a team based around facing one team? And it's not necessarily that you're going to do it all the time, but it's going to be a psychological effect, because I did it. And I made a conscious effort to get away from it because I ended up playing a lot of elves. I was like, I'm not going to take tackle because that's exactly what everyone would expect me to do. Sometimes you have to. So the teams that I'm looking at in a way are the teams that are going to be the big marker points for people's seasons. So I'm going to be playing Murder Dash on week 6, I'm going to be playing...
Are you looking at my schedule?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be playing Audrey on week 4. I'm going to be playing Kitakaze on week 9, you know? So...
Are you looking... Wait, hold on. Outside of Kitakaze, I have Audrey week 4 and Murder Dash week 6.
Literally, at the moment, I am looking at the best punching bags in the mixed division, so I've just pulled those out of my arse, I'm afraid.
Why are you calling me out, dude? What is with this guy?
He's getting his licks in on his home territory before you get in tomorrow.
It's like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah, so...
Jeez.
So I guess, for me, looking at it, I'm looking at it in terms of marker points the same way, but I'm making a real conscious effort to build my team towards playing everyone rather than playing... Because I think I kind of had a tendency to do it a little bit last. I'd take what I needed for the next game rather than what I needed for 2 games away or 3 games away or weeks 5.
Careful that you don't go too human on us there, Mr. Orc Coach, because that's exactly how I build my team, is because I need to be the jack of all trades.
Well, that's the question. You know, I think there are more or less meta builds with team.
Yeah.
And it's not something we've had to address yet because no one's anywhere near where they have to go. But it's you know, these are the building blocks that we need to be successful as this particular race. And I see your argument with, is tackle better, is guard better, is mighty blow better, and particularly I'm looking at orcs because, you know, 1, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah.
2, it's somewhere where I'm at right now in my development. I think we're kind of in a little bit different spaces, you and I, and how we develop pieces, because, like, I've got block across the board, everybody except my lineman and my troll.
Yeah.
And that's, like, your first win condition as an orc coach. Your second is, like, have you developed a killer? Check. Got my mighty blow piling on. Third is, do you have guard? 2 so far. Do I want to go more guard? Do I want to go more mighty blow? It becomes that question, especially with black orcs for us, about to level.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the way that we utilize them isn't necessarily the same. So my black orcs I quite often refer to as beef gates. So I'm quite happy to park a black orc somewhere and just let him get punched, especially if he's one of the unleveled ones, because if he dies I'll just replace him. And not use them particularly offensively. I've seen orc coaches who use their black orcs extremely offensively, so their black orcs level comparatively rapidly. They've got guard, you know, they've got block and guard or block and mighty blow on a couple. They're using them to run in and deck people. It's all about kind of the difference in how the teams develop is how they feed into that meta. And I think the thing is as well with league play, when we talk about the meta, what we're really talking about is CCL meta. So we're looking at the teams that are successful in CCL, which is you could be playing anyone. So, you know, people will build their teams to be this certain kind of team because that's what works in a CCL setting where you don't really know who your next opponent is. We do know who our next opponents are going to be, barring them dropping out. So our metas develop in a different way. So the meta of the league that we're in dictates, you know, the overarching meta of the league that we're in dictates the kind of development of the team that we have. So your team developed, we started from the same sort of experience level, but your team developed differently because of the teams that you were facing to how mine did because of the teams that I was facing. We're not even talking conscious decisions we're talking about the sort of subconscious decisions that we make as a consequence of the games that we play. Whereas with CCL, you're randomly going into people. You could, in theory, I suppose, get the same coach 3 times in a row. Seems unlikely. Or you could, you know, end up playing 6 games against dwarves back to back or whatever. That's not something we're ever going to have. So, with these teams at least. So our teams are going to develop in a very different way to how that prevailing overall, the perfect X kind of team is. Because it wouldn't necessarily be perfect for what we're doing with them.
I will say, I think your perfect microcosm for what you're trying to make and what you're trying to argue are the chaos teams and mixed.
Yeah,
and I kind of sussed out what I'm trying to figure of, like, why do I call Dimmy's chaos greedy?
Yeah.
When you look at his team, he has 3 mighty blow already, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are a good opponent or have any kind of agility or dodge, only one of them is going to be able to activate per turn. So the other 2 mighty blows are wasted.
Mm-hmm.
If you switch one of those, or both of them, to a guard, you have a designated blitzer and 2 guard pieces that gum up everything.
Yeah.
The other thing you see with Dimmy's team, he started to kind of make a carrier with Billy the Kid because he has the blodge piece. Now I want to flip over to BME's team real quick because when you look at his squad, he has a blodge sure hands piece already. You know who his carrier is. He has 1 mighty blow, and it has block, and it has piling on. Whereas Dimmy's has a strength up. Yeah. Which one's going to do his job better? You know, that's kind of where I get to. Like, this team, to me, you understand what the pieces are starting to do. Dimmy's whole team is just, I punch and kill. Yeah. That's what it is. This team is, I have these pieces that are designed to do this, well, these pieces are designed to do this. And it's kind of why I called one greedy and one, you know, kind of more open-ended, if you will. But it's, when we're talking about meta builds and why you do certain things and where and when, you know, both teams have strength up pieces.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
They're used very differently.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. You have a sledgehammer versus a scalpel.
Yep.
So, you know, a sledgehammer, yeah, it'll crush the shit out of plenty of things, but it's a blunt instrument. So this is not a knock on Dimmy or Dimmy's team, even remotely. It's just talking about the kind of difference in the way that the teams have developed. So you have one that is more of a precise instrument, whereas Dimmy's team is the epitome of, you know, this is a team that has to be on the offense constantly because his team is built so offensively. That's not a pun before anyone says. His team is so offensively minded that he has to use the sledgehammer to crack the nut. Whereas you have the head collectors who are more of a scalpel, so they will pick the weakness that they can exploit and they will exploit it. And both playstyles are equally valid because you can overwhelm a team by just smashing them to pieces, or you can beat a team by precisely targeting the area that you want to go for and focusing on that and busting them open like that.
You've picked out the key word there is playstyle. That smash and bash playstyle. And again, just going to put this out there for any coach that I'm speaking of right now, this is not anything against them. But the smash and bash play style works very well for how Dimmy likes to play.
Yeah.
And whereas it is a blunt tool, where it sometimes will just not get through whatever it is, it's at least versatile enough to be able to cover a lot of situations that it covers because it's get rid of everything. If there's nothing on the pitch, it can't hurt me. Where we go to BME, yes, his is a very precise instrument of getting in there, picking the weakness apart, shredding the team little by little until there's nothing left. The problem is if you can't get to that weakness or you find that you're not prepared for the weakness that that team has, I'm not sure if there's too much more you can do outside of slow them down as best you can and hope that they don't score on you.
Exactly, yeah. It's like when you're going up against an armoured knight, do you want a dagger or do you want a big fuck-off warhammer? You want a big fuck-off warhammer, you want to crush him to pieces. If you are going up against a ninja, you don't want the warhammer, you know, you want the dagger. So, it's
that's the classic, like, strength versus dex argument, where it's like, I only need to hit you once, dex nerd.
But if you cannot land that blow, you might as well not even have shown up, you know, whereas if you're going up against the big burly fighter, you know, you tank them. So, yeah, it's the maximum damage versus targeted damage approach. For example, I am quite happy to only take one hit per turn as long as I can orchestrate that hit to do the maximum possible damage. If you watch me play, quite often I will just essentially try and dictate where things are going and just take whatever little hit of opportunity I can. Whereas someone like Dimmy loves to pressure other coaches, so he will put pieces forward to get them into contact so that he's forcing people to dodge away from his big burly strengthy boys, and if they're not, he's knocking them down. They're both incredibly valid play styles, they're just different from each other.
Alright, well, I think I have discussed all I can discuss for an evening.
I would agree. I was tired approximately 12 hours ago, so I'm still tired now. But it has been wonderful. It's been really good to have a chat and do a chat in public, I guess, as well. That's because we've chatted a few times between the three of us, especially, in private, essentially. But to actually,
we can't shit talk as much here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we can't just all gang up on.
Oh, that Jim guy sucks.
Jim sucks, and Hubster has a silly beard.
not even top 9. I'm gonna put him
Hubster's
at
not even
20.
watching this. Hubster's probably not going to watch this. So I don't really know.
Hubster comes in, he's going to see this, he's going to be like, what do I do?
I feel like we are so far into this discussion. Anyone who's stuck around this long, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was our insight into all of our minds. Don't pick us apart in the next few weeks, yeah?
Yeah. So, what I will say is thank you both for joining me on this very impromptu cast. It has been a lot of fun, as it always is. That was a crazy game to call. Big props to both Flipped and Dakka for putting on a mega show for us tonight. And I guess we will hear from Rand tomorrow for the recap.
Yeah, sounds good. I have a recap, and it's going to be on the quick side because I have a game immediately after.
Ooh, fun and games. So
if everything rolls.
Well, I guess it's a good thing then that we covered the schedule this week for you.
Yeah, right.
When do we next get to see you, Kitakaze?
Whenever Rand and I decide to put our game together, because I'll be off next week sipping mimosas and watching my team level up.
Yeah, true enough.
So the next you see him, I'll be mangling him.
That's what he thinks.
My next game is in my side league. I will be broadcasting it on Sunday. It is me with my very, very unleveled, mainly Orc Lino squad versus Aim and his Bashi Brigadiers, who are Norse, which is kind of cheating because they've all got block, so I'm not going to win.
Oh, I remembered something I forgot.
Sure.
So Carl recently subscribed to me with his Twitch Prime, which
Yes.
1, don't subscribe to me because you're wasting your money. But 2, I'm actually going to have emotes for Carl. I'm going to make a little emote. I actually have an Indonesian man working on it right now, thanks to Fiverr, so I'm excited.
Amazing. So we're going to see some special Carl emotes coming out. I hope they're kind of related to the Division.
I was going to ask, is the emote something to do with Carl's pieces getting killed left and
Is it
right?
just dead Dark Elves?
So I will let you know what I've requested, because I think it's amazing.
Okay.
I have requested, so Carl vaguely gave me the ideas of a foul emote, something to do with orcs and beer, and there was another one that was a request for an Orc Bowl emote.
Okay.
So the 3 I requested was a goblin ref with a blindfold on.
Very
for the fouls.
That's really good, yeah.
I requested a smiling orc with a mug of beer.
Yeah, perfect.
And you know how the kind of cliched photo shot of Blood Bowl 2 is the orc and the human like rushing at each other and almost bashing heads? I asked them to put just 2 orcs bashing heads.
Brilliant.
So if you see one of those, hey, that's mine. I might actually upload them to one of my... I might upload them to one of my Discords so people can use them in multiple places.
Awesome.
I will say I'm a little bit sad that the only Orc Bowl we're going to get is going to be Gauss versus Lava.
Yeah.
If that division manages to survive at this point.
Yeah, and there is potential for me and Rand to duke it out in the playoffs. So, that could happen. That would be a very interesting game, I think. I think there would be a lot of people watching that one. I
might have to get dibs on casting that just so I can use the emote.
Yeah.
Well, if you're there casting it, if you don't mind, I'll be color commentary so we can make fun of. Watch Ghaustos.
Look at these orcs. There's only one good orc team in this whole league.
Let's not start getting ahead of ourselves and planning the playoffs that none of us could make. We all end up last in our division, and everyone just laughs at us.
Now that I have completely destroyed your very well orchestrated sign off, I will see you gentlemen later. Have a wonderful week.
You will indeed. You have a good one, Rand. And
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So I'm going to do a sign-off that's going to basically be me saying that I have been internally screaming this entire time because I had 2 hours sleep last night. So I'm going, and thank you all for joining us and listening to us ramble on for far too long. Tune in for Rand's cast tomorrow, Might see some of you on Sunday. If not, I will catch you all next week at some point, and I will try and do some games this weekend. I'm free on Friday, so if anyone's playing on Friday, let me know. Good night.